I met a Gypsy.
We good. All right, we got the all clear, mate. Lift off.
Let's go.
Welcome to the podcast, mate. I'm stoked to have you.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I've been watching for a while, so I'm pretty pumped to be on here, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, Joel is a privateer in the Australian Motocross Series, and he has taken up the challenge to be Australia's first legit moto YouTuber, and I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. It is definitely a challenge for sure. It's surprised me a little bit, but I've loved sort of the whole thing, learning. It's big learning experience, as obviously you guys would know so much. There's so much work that goes into it that I had no idea about.
Yeah. So what was your so you're a privateer in the 450 class. You've been around for ages. You're from Warwick, right? Or Kingaroy.
Yeah.
So you've been obviously like a Queensland, moto kid, local scene, and doing the nationals and stuff. So I guess what's like your background before you started the YouTube thing, and then what inspired you to start the YouTube thing?
All right, so go all the way back. Just started like everyone else, sort of on a peewee. Got into racing a little bit. The old man always wanted to race, but was never allowed bikes, sort of deal. So he hooked us up for Pee Wee 50, and then just slowly got into it. And then we met the Wilsons pretty early, like J and D Wilson.
Yeah.
We were pretty well best mates the whole way through growing up, and just followed those guys around to all the racing. And and then as you get older, obviously it just gets harder and harder sort of thing to keep going. But I was one of the guys that, like, I'm 26 now, but I didn't want to stop. So it's sort of the whole reason the YouTube and stuff, it was just like I want to keep going. But it sort of started getting to a point where it's like, obviously I'm spending so much money. I'm not winning races, so I'm not on a team or anything to make it a little bit more worthwhile. I was trying to find other avenues to get sponsors, even just to help out. Not so much make money, but I wanted to go race and it not be completely stupid in a way. Yeah. And so what was your, I guess, previous results and stuff like that? Like, were you sort of close to getting on a team at one point, or? Yeah, so growing up, it was always sort of like Jay Wilson and myself, pretty close to the top. Jay was always a little bit better than me. I was always chasing his tail as a junior, and then we turned senior. He got on a team and I didn't. And I sort of just kept trying. In 2015, I think it was probably my closest. First round of the Queensland titles, it was myself, Wade Hunter, and Nathan Crawford. Yeah. And I actually won that round, and I was feeling pretty good. And then the next weekend, I had a big crash and broke my neck, sort of thing, and then wiped me out for a long time. But that was probably the closest I've been. Like, I'd always felt like I'm right below those guys, sort of thing. It's like the top guys, and then I feel like I was always just on that bottom half of it.
And what was the difference, you reckon, between, like, is there a talent gap, do you think?
I think so. I think that's a little bit of it. Like, I've always...
Because, like, for Wade, right, so I grew up with Wade. From Cairns. So Wade was just, I've literally known him his whole life. Yeah. And like, that motherfucker is just so talented, dude. Yeah. Like, insanely talented. Same with Jats. Like, they are just, I think Wade's one of the most talented people in Australia to ride a bike, in terms of, he can do like fakies, and you know what I mean? Like, he's just one of those dudes, and he's always been able to do that shit. But yeah, it's interesting because you're right. There is a bunch of guys that are kind of like you, that are just sort of always just the tiniest bit off those guys.
Yeah, and you see, like, I agree 100% with Wade. I've watched him ride, obviously, the whole time, grew up with him. You just see the whips and the scrubs and stuff. I saw on Instagram he was giving Todd a bunch of shit not long ago, like, because he's like doing way bigger whips and stuff, and he's always had that talent for sure. Yeah. Even Supercross, I can't remember which year he was on the Yamaha, and man, he was good.
It would have been like 15, 16 when Jats was on. They were teammates, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
It was like Jats, Wade, and Wilson. All three Cairns boys were on Circo that year. Yeah. But like, just insane talent, eh? Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's something I've always lacked a little bit. Like, I know you're always usually a little bit overcritical of yourself, but you just see photos, and it's like you see Jay and Wade and those sort of boys, they just look good on a dirt bike. Yeah. Like, it's just like they're built to ride a dirt bike, sort of thing. Yeah. As I always felt like I always looked awkward on it. Yeah. And it's like I could run similar times, but I just didn't look as good. And I think that's a bit of a talent thing. Yeah. But
I'd agree with that completely. Yeah. Like, that's the same with me and my brother. Yeah. We've been riding this. We grew up riding the same bikes, the same shit. He just looks way better.
Yeah. I know Jay gave me shit one time because there was like Conondale, the Drunks Hill at Conondale. Yeah. we both went there the same day, and we'll like just throwing whips, like, because it's just a fun jump to whip. And I had like this full like bar turn style. Yeah. And he's just like, dude, you still whip like that? It's like, come on, man. He's like getting the turn down thing going on, and yeah, just that natural just ability to ride a bike. It's pretty cool what those guys do, but I'm not much for an excuse guy, so I think like I can get there, or just do it a different way. Like, you've seen plenty of dudes do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's cool that you can embrace the position that you're in a little bit, and you can kind of like own it, and then choose your own lane. Because, man, I looked at some of your recent content the other day, last night. That's when I was just like, well, we've got to get you on before the Nationals, because you're doing really, really, really well. Like, I subscribed to your channel a while ago, and the consistency's there, the style that you're doing is there. Like, I've enjoyed your race vlogs from the Sunnies, and I think that it's definitely, you're going to start to see it picking up, and especially I think with the Nationals, with the racing, and people are gonna want to follow on. But yeah, I mean, like, sometimes if you're the super talented fucking on a team, your hands get tired. It's not like you can take your own filmer, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a different, you're probably not going to grind the way that you're going to grind in the video thing. So it's sort of like, I don't know, man, you might lack in that area, but in this area you're probably really going to excel, and it's going to change your career, and you could probably get more out of this than you ever could have got out of racing,
Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool, honestly. Like, watching your sort of stuff sort of shows that there's different avenues for stuff. Yeah. I actually listened to a podcast with Adam Bailey. Yeah. And he was sort of showing, like, you got to just go out, and there's ways to make this stuff work. And that was the thing. I was like, yeah, on the teams, those guys are pretty restricted with different stuff, and I sort of saw that opportunity. Like, I can say what I want. I can do what I want almost. Yeah. I can create pretty cool content because I'm not biased, and it just seemed to work out really good in that way. Like, I can do, like, I did a Maxxis Dunlop like comparison, and I didn't have any ties to either of them. Like, I could say whatever I wanted, and people love that sort of stuff. So that YouTube side of things is super cool, being able to show whole different side of stuff. But like, my goal is still to be a racer, and I think it's just cool to use this to get there. And I can show like that whole different side of stuff. There's a couple videos. I think it was one of the Sunnies where Todd cleaned you out in the parade lap, and you were like blowing up about it. It's like, fuck yeah, leave that shit in. Like, that should stay in there. There's no reason for you to take that out. Like, I know that you and Todd would be cool, down the road, and like, once you got that shit out of your system, it's not like you're over the dude. But I fucking liked it. It was cool to see that, and see that you weren't just trying to be like super politically correct, and work within like the little box that motocross riders normally have to work inside. And the testing videos that you've done have been really cool, like the suspension one that you did as well. I think too, it's awesome that you've partnered with Raceline. Those guys are awesome. Like, we've been doing a bit of stuff with those guys as well. Sean's a dope mechanic, for one, and then I just think that whole kind of their thinking around the way that they want to go forward, like, not necessarily just pouring a bunch of money into a race team or whatever, and working on some content and with different people. I think it's actually like, it's a really good time to align with them as well, and I think that's going to let you do some cool shit as well. Yeah, those guys have, like, Sean's actually been pretty cool. Each time I go in there and we're working on bike stuff, we get talking about the YouTube, and he's given me different ideas of stuff I can do to maybe like add a bit more money into it, or like business ideas for the future and different stuff like that. So they've definitely got a different way of thinking. It's not just like, come in, get your bike service, see you later. Like, they're pretty cool they're just, like you said, thinking outside the box. They're even like last year they were offering full-blown race bike, like, you just lease the bike, so you don't have to go and spend 20 grand. You could go in there and lease a race bike for the year, and then you give it back, sort of stuff. And it's like, that's what I was planning to do before the whole COVID thing hit. But they're definitely thinking outside the box, coming up with heaps of cool little ideas, because someone like me, it's like, I've always wanted a factory bike, but I couldn't get it. And it's like, basically they were like, this is what Dean Ferris has got, you can ride it. It's like the exact same thing, so that's pretty sick. Who are your influences
of this YouTube channel? Like, who were you kind of looking at, and who do you look to for inspiration?
Honestly, I didn't have anyone. It was sort of something I wanted to do for ages, which is pretty funny that it sort of worked out this way. My girlfriend and I, it just popped up on a memory on her phone. We were vlogging on just her phone 3 years ago, just to try to do it, but I was always too scared to put anything out.
Yeah.
So we were like, we'll just give it a go, and it would have been so cool because it was actually traveling down to round 1, 2018.
Yeah.
And that trip, just as a privateer, just went to crap.
Really?
I had the old high ace van, like the original OG one, like the little van.
Yeah, yeah. 2
bikes in there, all our stuff. We were both sleeping in there at the same time. And we broke down 3 times. And then the Tyler Darby and his old man from New South Wales, they picked us up.
Yeah.
And brand new Iveco van, it broke down. Reese Bud, they come and they grabbed us, took us down. And then we're like waiting for our bikes. Tow truck hit a deer and crashed.
What?
On the way to the track. So didn't have bikes. And it was like, it would have been so epic for a vlog just to like show that whole thing, because it almost sounds fake, like how much went wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just like I was always too scared to put it out. And then I sort of, Dean Ferris is actually my brother-in-law.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was pretty good because he's a bit of a just go for whatever you want to do sort of guy. Yeah. And my sister as well. So when they were planning to do a whole bunch of different stuff and go traveling, coaching and stuff, they basically said, if you got that idea, just do it. And then my girlfriend quit her job like the next day, and we're like, let's do it. Yeah, travel around, because it was going to be too hard as just like a privateer guy trying to work and then do the vlog and then get to the races and everything. It was just never going to work. So
yeah,
we actually bought an old van that was rusted and like had grass growing over it. We built it up, got it running, and then we're going to live in this thing. We'll do the back half of it as bikes, front half living, and we'll travel around, vlog and coach, and then I can just go race full time, and we'll give that a go.
And so what is that the setup basically now, what you guys are doing?
Yeah. So me and my girlfriend both live in a VW Crafter, like half of it, not even half of it. And the back half is dirt bikes. And we're just like parked up outside here, and last night we parked outside the bike shop to get suspension serviced, and it's like, man, it's just that's how we're doing it to make it work. And it's honestly, it's just like I said, it's finding a different way to do it. I don't have the team and that sort of thing, but I'm racing full time now basically, so it's pretty awesome.
Dude, that's so rad.
Yeah, it's a different way, but it honestly just, to me, it's just feels like that's how they do it. You know, like I go to the track on a Tuesday and I'm just like there with the other guys. It's pretty cool.
Man, that's awesome. Good job, Like, just it's ballsy for one, and for your missus to quit work and stuff like that. That's one of the cool things I think about your vlog, is that you've actually got a lot of really good third person riding footage.
Yeah.
And I think that's just only going to get better over time as well. So I think that's like a pretty big asset to your whole vlogs, and it makes them kind of interesting to watch as well. Yeah. But yeah, man, what a commitment for your girlfriend to quit work and you guys to go racing. Like you I think regardless, you're just going to have a great year. Yeah,
I think just going to be a great time no matter what we do, sort of thing. She was an exercise physiologist, so like she had a pretty good job in a cool studio and everything like that, so it was a big deal, and she loved her boss and stuff to quit that. But she does support me and the whole thing fully, and obviously she saw the benefit too. It's like a cool lifestyle. Like, who doesn't want to go traveling around a van? And obviously we've got a heap of extra work behind the scenes, but it's still pretty cool. And then her behind the camera, like the third person stuff, is such an asset for sure. Like the Todd stuff you spoke about before, I wouldn't have got that unless she was there. She run over with the camera, and obviously it's pretty heated and whatever, and it's just like we get sort of everything as it happens, sort of deal.
No, it's awesome, man. So how are you guys funding that? Like, is it something that you've had to like save for and with sponsors, or is the YouTube, like, have you got monetization on YouTube yet?
Just set it up like a few weeks ago.
Cool.
So we reached our goal was New Year's. We wanted to reach 1,000 subscribers, because then like that's, I think, the amount, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours or something. And we had the watch hours already, but we just need to hit that 1,000. And we hit it like a couple hours before New Year's. It was pretty cool. And then since then it's like doubled and then a bit. So like it's starting to pick up some momentum. But the funding sort of thing, we did save a bit. I had a fair bit saved. And then went into it. The whole plan was last year we were meant to do all this. So I quit my job. And then she was still working at the time. And then it sort of all went to crap a little bit. And now how we're funding it is I do a little bit of coaching here and there to try to do as much as I can, and then hopefully the YouTube one day will pay off. But right now we're not making really any money. It just numbers aren't quite big enough yet. But I do see the money there ticking over, so I don't exactly know. I think you get paid once a month on like the 21st to 26th or something from what I read.
We get ours on the 22nd.
So it'll be in that stage this month, like April. So we'll see how much money we get then. But it's more so the coaching that does it all. But honestly, we do it on a big budget. There's we don't have a whole lot of money, and we found it's more in like we just keep investing into the program sort of deal more so than saving any money. So we living paycheck to paycheck in a way. Even though it's not your typical paycheck. Like if I go coaching, it's like we put that all straight back in. Run out of money, shit, we better go do some coaching again, sort of deal.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like it's just fucking what you got to do. Like a lot of people want to do both. You know, like they want to have the steady income and they want to have the money saved so that it's comfortable, and then they'll do it. Or I just don't want to quit my job. Like you just. To pull something like this off, man, like you just kind of got to go all in and make it happen. And if you really commit to it, there can be some like crazy life-changing benefits that come out of it.
And it's cool stories. Like again, like I am a Gypsy Tales fan, so I watch a bunch of your stuff, and there's different people that have been on this podcast or yourself, and you see who's the mountain bike guy you had, and he was sort of the same deal. He's like living out of his van and he didn't have much money. I'm not
was it Dean?
I think he might have been. Well, he was and then like he's killing it now or whatever, but the same deal. It's like he was just having
Jack Moyer, when they went, was it Jack when he went over to Europe and they were all living in that fucking shitty ass van?
I think that and it's just cool to hear those stories, and it's like the same sort of deal. It's like I want to ride a dirt bike. Like I'm not on here crying poor, like saying, it's so hard for me. It's like, this is awesome what I'm doing. It's like I don't have any money, but we're having a ball. Like it's always been my dream to be on a factory team and be a full-time racer.
This is probably more like if you get it to the point where your YouTube channel is paying you like every month, and like you'll have more fun than if you're on a factory team, I reckon.
And that's the thing. It's like I think the goal more so in a factory team, it was just that comes with getting to ride full-time. So if I can get to do that just a different way, like, man, that's pretty awesome. And I probably, like you said, I don't have the pressures of whoever it is yelling at me and like making sure like you got to do this, you got to do that, you can't say this. So I think it'll be super cool. It's just it's definitely a bit of a grind right now, but at the same time, I'm enjoying it.
There's just no, especially in the content game, dude. Like there's just no way around the grind. Like it's just a fucking slot machine. Like you just got to keep just putting in cash, and then hopefully fucking one of the videos hits for you, you know? And that cash is just you literally cash and time. You know, you just got to put in time and money, and then hope that, you know, you put in a good video, you get a great thumbnail, a great title, it pops off, and you get some cash. Like it's just a fucking grind, you know? But I think the cool thing too that you'll find, and it's something that I kind of do with this, is like I'll get more money, but then I'll go do like buy the fucking mid 2K bike, and then you just start pumping cash into that, or like buy the 350, and then it's like I'll do a bike build because people want to see cool content. So like you end up just like funding this really fun lifestyle. You know, this weekend we're going to go race Transmoto, and that'll be more content. We'll come up with more stories. So it's just like, I think that, you know, one of the things that I always try and think about is that people buy into, or like people kind of just are spending time watching like your lifestyle and your life, and then they're taking inspiration from the things that you do, and they're pulling information out of things, you know, kind of aids in the shit that they're into. So it's like, if you think about it, just like, how do we just live like the coolest life we possibly can and then document that cool life. And then when that does well and you get more money, then just like put more money into like doing cooler shit and cooler shit and cooler shit. And, you know, I think that's when it becomes like just like fun. It becomes really fun to be, because essentially it's like you're a creator now, you know, like you're a content creator, you've got your own channel, you can do these, you know, I guess express like the ideas that are in your head. And yeah, you're gonna end up with like a lot of freedom to just do some cool shit, you know.
Yeah, and that's honestly, it's something that we've looked into a little bit. And my girlfriend, she really wants to travel.
Yeah.
And the whole just normal privateer dirt bike rider grind is typically you sit in the van for 20 hours chasing white lines, get to the track Saturday night, race Sunday, then you drive back 20 hours sort of thing. Yeah. So we go all around the country, tell people, I was in Melbourne on the weekend. Oh, what'd you go see? It's like, oh, we saw dirt. Yeah. Saw dirt at a dirt bike track. And then that's what, like, we go past so many cool places. Like, Australia is such a sick place.
Yeah.
And I've never seen any of it. So now we can go and do almost like travel style vlogs as well. Like, she's keen for something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously you see a lot of those guys and they do pretty well. And she's keen on that side of things. So I was like, well, let's do both.
Yeah.
It'll be extra work, obviously, but we can sort of mix them in together, and that's a pretty cool little extra avenue that we can go down. And that's a lifestyle thing too. Like, I like hiking and stuff like that. So there's heaps of cool places obviously around Victoria and stuff. There's like the Grampian Mountains and stuff. So we're going to go check all that out and
like
just
Great
do cool
Ocean Road
stuff
and stuff as well. It's like super cool. Like Lorne and Torquay and all those places are insane too.
Yeah. So people would be keen just to see that.
Yeah.
See us cruise around and check those places out, and we'll just, like I said, just create so many more opportunities.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're so stuck. Like when I was just working the normal job and you just sort of see that's like, oh, I gotta make all this money to go racing.
Yeah.
And then you start doing, it's like I'm making no money now.
Yeah.
But you start seeing all these different ways that you could make money or could do different opportunities, more so than money even.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so cool. It's like my eyes just like went boom, just like opened up sort of thing. Yeah.
And the thing is that's cool, right? So like, let's say Nathan Crawford this weekend at Wonthaggi. Like, if he doesn't win those 2 races, then he kind of sucks in the eyes of him, the industry, you know what I mean? Like, and that's being overly dramatic, but like, really, that's all he's there for. That's it. There's no other reason for Nathan Crawford to go to the race than to win. But with you've just got to make cool content.
Yeah.
So like, that's your mission, and that can happen in a bunch of different ways. Like, you can go DNF, and it still makes for good content, because there'd be a reason why. There'd be some storyline, some shit would have gone down for that to take place. And that, so it's not like your racing efforts aren't just tied to the result. And that's the problem that a lot of people have with races, is the fact that only one dude wins every weekend. You know, there's 6 spots on the podium. I actually had a dude comment the other day about on the YouTube channel saying that they should do 1, 2, and 3 for the podium like normal.
Yeah.
But then they should do top privateer and then top manufacturer as well.
Yeah.
So there's like more spots on the podium, which would be pretty sick. But anyway, side point. But yeah, it's like, you're not just tied to the result. Like, there's so many ways for you to have a great productive weekend that aren't tied to a race result.
Yeah, exactly. It's super cool in that way, and like you said, if NATO goes out and doesn't do that well, it's wrecked. But I've already seen it. Like, I've done a weekend, I felt like I did pretty crappy, and people on my YouTube would jump on and be like, oh, that was awesome, keep your head up, this looked good, that looked good. And they're pumped just to see it. Or like, obviously that qualifying where me and Todd come together, it's like, I was angry, but those guys love that. Like, that was a sweet thing for them. They're glad he took me out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, fuck, this is sick.
Yeah. So it's super cool in that way. And it's already like, you can see how those guys like, it's just like fans of it. Like, I had a guy, actually a council worker, come to my old man's house.
Yeah.
And he saw the bikes like over in the shed, and he's like just looking and saw the 81 and stuff. And he's like, oh, I watch your son's YouTube. And then he's like, oh, do you reckon I could meet him?
That's sick.
Come over and see me. Met me, and he hadn't ridden a dirt bike for, I think, 10 years.
Wow.
He went and bought one for his missus and the 2 kids.
That's so sick.
Like, had not ridden dirt bike 10 years. He's like, oh, I watched your stuff and it got me inspired. It's like, I hurt myself on a horse like 10 years ago or something, but yeah, you got me inspired to get a dirt bike again, and I was like, that stuff's cool.
Yeah.
And then that's the stuff that like they're not so much interested in the racing, but they like seeing me there.
Yeah.
And like see what I'm doing. So like you said, it's like not all about the result, even if that is personally my thing. Like I do struggle a little bit in the way of looking that way of like, oh, it doesn't matter really what happens, because that's my personal goals.
Yeah.
No one else probably cares about that, but I want to do well.
Yeah.
So I don't want to almost use it as like a doesn't matter, I've got the YouTube sort of deal.
Yeah.
But I guess I can do both. It doesn't matter what other people are looking at it sort of thing. I can still have my own personal goal within it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is that, and I think you're doing this well, like you've got to just be a professional. Like be a professional YouTuber, even though you're not getting paid in that sense. Like you need to treat it like a job. So it's like, yeah, you'll have your personal goals outside of that, but at the end of the day, you know, like you still make the videos regardless of the result.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you said, I'm a YouTuber, so it's like almost like that's my 9 to 5, I guess.
Yeah.
Is how I'm going to try to treat it, but it's hard to even say that because I do enjoy doing it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's super cool, and I listened to the AJ Catanzaro one, and that's where it was like his thing was mainly focused to that, and he's like, oh, if the racing suffers, it suffers, that's something I've struggled with just lately. Is I've had so much to do between the content stuff and then trying to make some money through coaching and then training. It's almost like I had 3 full-time jobs trying to figure out how to do it all. And I went to Harvey Bay and I was not fit. I thought I was fit because I've been riding smooth tracks, and then it's like to run that pace that like Toddy and those boys run, I can do it, but I can do it for a lap. You know, I can do 25 minutes at 2-3 seconds a lap slower than that.
Yeah.
But not at that pace. Like to go that much faster, it's crazy. I legit, I think it was second lap, I was like, I'm gone.
That's insane, eh?
Yeah, just because the amount of pressure you have to push into the bike to get it to drive on the ground, and so many different things, like technique wise, it's just to go that extra speed, you also need to have that extra fitness level. It's like constant steps. It's like you need to get faster, then you need to get fitter to match that, then faster and fitter to match that, and then it's crazy. Yeah,
man, you're so right. Like even the other weekend at MX Farm, like I just couldn't ride. Like I just wasn't feeling good. Anytime I'd want to ride, I just got real tired. Like not arm pump or anything like that, but just like tired, you know, like you just can't put in. It's like to ride that speed, I've got to be able to put X amount of effort in, and I just couldn't deliver that effort. Yeah. Let alone, you know, deliver it for a time. So it's insanely frustrating how that works.
Yeah, dirt bikes are you never stop learning. It's crazy. Like I'm sure like you with your jiu-jitsu stuff, it's like the same deal, man. It's like I've been doing it forever. It's like every time I go to the track, it's like I learn something else. I'm like, I got to do this better and got to do this better. But I think that's why we love it though. Like, it's pretty cool.
Do you put much coaching stuff on your YouTube channel?
None.
Yeah, see, that might be some good content sort of stuff there, because I know that's why I asked about the influencers, because there's a couple dudes that are just doing it real well, and you don't really even have to look too far outside of what guys like Jeff Walker are doing, AJ's doing, the Degans, you know, like their shit's obviously like a little bit differently, but like there's a few people that are doing it really well to where it sort of almost takes like a lot of the guesswork out of it for somebody, you know, that's new trying to do it. Like you've just kind of got to have the right ingredients to add together, and then you find out what is unique to you, like your situation. So the fact that you and your girlfriend are living in the van and your girlfriend's quit her job, and then that travel side of it, like that, you know, that's your unique point of difference. And, you know, like Jeff Walker's got his thing. And so I think that, like you're kind of in a lucky spot where, you know, if you're ever feeling lost of what to do, like, fuck, you just got to look around at a couple people that are doing it, you know, really well. And if you consistently follow that formula, like it will work for you, you know?
Yeah. Since starting, I actually have done that. I've gone and trying to find those guys. Yeah. And I had no idea who Jeff Walker was.
Really?
Like even after, like from before I started the YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Like I'd started it and had no idea who he was, and I was like, oh, he's the same thing I'm doing, but he's killing it. Yeah, he's got so many followers and stuff, and you look at all his posts, everyone just loves him, hey? Yeah. Like they're stoked on it. So, it's definitely, that's a cool inspiration to see what he's done and how he can do it. And he can upload just like a GoPro video.
Yeah.
And it kills it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see that sort of stuff. It's like people are just Jeff Walker fans.
Yeah.
It's like if I just upload one, it's probably not going to do that well yet, but more and more now it's starting to become, it's like I'm getting Joel Evans fans and stuff like that. Actually, we did a Toowoomba Club Day, and it was pretty funny. There was, I think it was Aaron Tanney, Nathan Crawford, Jake Moss, Reese Budd, like all camped just behind me.
Yeah.
And that was me, and it was like all these little kids all day at my camp. And it was like not one went to them boys. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? Like, this is pretty crazy. And it's like you just get those cool little fans through YouTube and stuff, and you can really see where it can go and how the value is there for different people.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, man. Like, you just add value. Like, it's valuable to have a guy that you can follow his journey, and, you know, because if you're like, you can use that shit for inspiration, you know, like, oh, look at this guy, like, put so much effort into his riding, and he's always working on technique, and look at the way that he, you know, puts effort into this, and that, like, it is inspirational for people that they watch your content. It makes them want to go ride, or makes them want to race, or just gives people like genuinely something to like follow along and be invested in too, you know?
Yeah, and I think because we've been in the sport for so long, you're so ignorant to what you think people know. That's what I've found with it, is I just assume people know half the stuff with like us riders and stuff, that what we do.
Yeah.
And then they see the training and they see the behind the scenes stuff and that we're doing this and that, and like, I had no idea that you guys did that. And I'm trying to think of an example now, but just like the simplest stuff that you think everybody knows about racing, and these guys have no idea. So they're pumped just to see that behind the scenes, or like inside to a top or like a pro level guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I really found from it, and they get the inspiration. They're like, oh, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And
then I have people message them on like DM me all the time, like, oh, have you got some corner technique tips and different stuff, and they all just get inspiration. I had a kid I messaged just 3 tips to last night.
Yep.
And he messaged back and said, I'm going to try them every time I ride, thank you so much, and like stuff like that. So obviously, even though I don't think it's doing too much, it is inspiring someone.
Yeah,
like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, dude. You're right about that. What you think, you just kind of expect people to know, because we've been in it for so long. Like, I've been riding a dirt bike since I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
So there's so much shit that I just take for granted as a kid that grew up in a rare circumstance. You know, my dad was super into bikes. There's never not been a bike in my shed. There's just, you know, I've got a PhD in it just because it's how I grew up. But there's a lot of people out there that they're just getting into, like, they're just getting into the sport, or they've got they're into it but they don't have friends that are into it. There's so many different, like, that's one of the crazy things about Supercross Companion. There's so many people that watch Supercross Companion because they don't have friends that like Supercross.
Yeah, okay.
So and I would have never thought that was a thing. I've watched Supercross with my friends every race. Like, it's so rare that I would ever watch a Supercross race by myself, because all my friends are into Supercross. But what if you're a dude that doesn't have any friends that watch racing? Well, now there's Supercross Companion. And it's like, I never thought that would be a reason why somebody would want to watch. But there's so many like people out there that aren't like us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't grow up with it. They don't have like every person on their Instagram going Supercross Sunday sort of thing. They just like got tradie mates or whatever, like into something else. That is pretty cool that they do that. And you can 100% see it, because it's how much better is it if you watch it yourself or if you watch it with mates. Like, it is so much better to watch Supercross with a bunch of mates. So that would be a massive thing for those guys. Like, hang out with Jason, the boys, and watch Supercross this Sunday.
Get the live chat and roast Ronan. Yeah, you have been coughing it, mate. What about the technical side of the filming and the editing? That, I bet that's been a journey in itself. Yeah,
it's big. Yeah, honestly, my girlfriend does majority of the editing.
Yeah.
It's just, but that doesn't mean that I can't be there, because we go through all the stuff, and she's been around bikes a fair bit now.
Yeah.
But she still doesn't know which clips to pick and what to put in and whatever, but we sort of do it together. She does a lot more of the technical stuff, and just the time that goes into it is the biggest thing. Like just the volume. So each clip got to make the same volume, so then people aren't sitting in front of the TV, then all of a sudden their ears get blasted and then they can't hear the next clip and stuff like that. And then you can't, like, there's peaking, obviously it's like it's too loud, so you've got to drop the volume down, and it's blown my mind. We spend probably a good 15-hour day on each video. We just do morning the whole day through till night, and then that's just a video, and then there's like a few hours for thumbnail. Yeah. And it's like, that's just a typical video, and sometimes they're longer. It's like, it just takes that long. Then I got lucky in the fact that my girlfriend, she's pretty anal with it. Like, she doesn't want one where the volume does vary and stuff like that. So I feel like our stuff's actually pretty good quality.
It is really good quality,
even compared to some of the other guys that I have watched. I'm like, I feel like ours is pretty high level in that, like, as far as a vlog style goes.
Let's look at old Jolly's YouTube channel. 267 baby,
jumped up.
I like the thumbnails. I reckon you've got a good little style going on there.
The actually a cool thing with that was I listened to your Jeff Walker podcast and got some tips with that, with like the clickbait stuff. It's like, it's so not me to be like clickbaity, but the point of like, there's no reason not to. That sort of got me. I was like, oh, I got to do it. And then the first video I did, I think it was
which one was it?
Dirt Bike Heaven.
Oh, like,
perfect motocross track. It's like, the track was sick, but it's just my local Kingaroy track. And then that was the first video that actually got some pretty high views. It jumped up straight away, and I think it was a lot to do with that, and then like doing the different thumbnails and stuff.
So you got race season has started, 18,000 views, and then crashed out of the lead, 14k views. You can see that you're starting to get your own like style with it, and you're starting to because it's all, I mean, there's some just like best practice shit that you've got to do, you know, like there's just stuff every channel does. It's like clickbaity sort of titles. The thumbnails have to be really good, they have to be really consistent, but then the rest is like, that's kind of as far as the formula goes, you know. Like you got to know how long people are watching your videos. Like, you've really got to pore over your own numbers and like, what's the average view length. And, you know, I think the people that do really well out of it are the people that get really obsessive about delivering people what they want to watch, and like knowing what people you know, are getting like the most out of. But I think some coaching stuff would probably be pretty good as well, and you'd just be able to get more content out of it. Because how often are you posting?
We do once a week. Once a week is what we're trying to do. We find that originally it was every 2 weeks. But the more content we can do, find like people are wanting it. Like, if I miss a week now, people will be messaging me like, oh, you're doing one this week, like, what's the go? And then obviously now with the trying to build the channel, I'm finding straight away, it's like the more you post is going to be better, always.
100%.
But with how much is going on, I started thinking about maybe twice a week. It's so hard to try to find the time to do that. Because I do the longer videos, like, what are those, 14, 17
how long
minutes,
are people
17
watching them for on average?
It varies. This last one average is about 6 minutes is the average, 6 to 7 minutes. One before that, it was pretty high. It was nearly the full length. So some of them just, it changes per video, I guess. I guess some people must just find some more exciting than others. Or they go and they watch it back or something like that. Because my watch hours seem to be super high. I think so. I'm assuming people go in and watch it and then get out and then watch some more or something like that. But it's definitely growing, and people are starting to see me, and then I was getting more and more comments where people are like, I can't believe you don't have more subscribers than you do and stuff like that. So I'm like, that's cool, because then obviously these guys are probably Jeff Walker fans or something, and they can now be also Joel Evans fans and start bringing some over. Because I'm like pretty proud of some of the stuff we put out, and like, it's pretty cool content.
When you
agree. Like verse it against other stuff. And we do have some pretty cool ideas coming up as well, stuff we want to do.
Well, I think that this race season, it will be really cool for you. I think documenting the race season, I think, is going to be a really good thing for your content, because it's episodic, you know, like it gives people a storyline to sort of follow. It keeps people wanting to see how you're going. Like, I want to watch it, you know, like I've enjoyed the stuff that you've done just for the sunny states. But yeah, I mean, if you want to up your videos, like you should just do one video how you're doing it a week, and then one GoPro lap a week, and then one coaching video a week. Yeah. Just like a tip, you know, and if your average view is 6 minutes, then run a 6-minute coaching tip. You know, even off footage that you've already shot before, break down some of the, you know, if you want to do a thing on starts, you could like have your chick film you on the bike position, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got all these starts that you've done in the sunny states. Yeah. So why don't you do like technique breakdowns of like good start versus bad start? Because I think one of the things that will really help you is using old footage that you've already got. Yeah. Instead of just trying to make a new video off new footage that you've got to refilm. So like if you guys can be really organized with your hard drives with all of your old footage, so that you know exactly where everything is, it's all in the right dates and shit, then I think you guys will have success by going back and actually creating new content out of old footage as well.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, there's so many ideas, dude, that that you guys could do easily that would just get you more content without like having to shoot more shit, you know?
Yeah, and like the technique breakdown one that's something I've got written down. I wanted to just go out filming one day, film me riding, and then show everyone who's watching what I'm looking at when I'm looking at stuff, because I'm constantly critiquing my own technique. I feel like I've actually got a pretty good eye for coaching and technique and everything. Yeah. But it's totally different when you're on the bike. You feel like you're doing it. Yeah. You see, and it's cool doing this because I've been able to see myself ride a lot. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah. It's like, they're not doing it right. Just different stuff, like a lot of hip stuff and everything, like hip hinging. And I want to sort of break that down in a video and show people what I'm looking for. And then I'm like, if I'm frustrated at the end of a moto and people are like, oh, you look like you rode good, it's like, this is what I'm looking at. Yeah, this is why I'm not happy. Yeah. It's because I should have been doing this. And if I just did lean my head in a little bit more here and just show the little stuff, it's like, that's what makes a difference now that I'm at a level where I'm trying to catch guys like Todd or whatever. It's like, they're pretty fast dudes. So I got to pick up those little things. Yeah. I think that'll be a pretty cool video, actually. I think people will get a lot out of that.
Yeah. And I think that if you get some kind of consistency with that as well, like even after you post your race vlogs, it's like breaking down my, you know, like the best and worst of this weekend. Yeah. You know, you could show like footage where you really nailed some shit. Like, oh, I actually had a really great flow here. Or you could show like, oh yeah, so this moto, like I struggle with arm pump. This is what arm pump looks like. This is why I would have liked to go to the right of those bumps, but like I just didn't have the energy to move my line, even though it costs more energy to hit these bumps. I just couldn't fucking move across early enough to get out of that line, you know, shit like that. Yeah. So I think that because the thing, like with the amount that you're filming, there's just so much content that can be generated.
Yeah, we do have a lot of content there for sure. Yeah. Do you follow Lionel Sanders at all, or know who he is? Nah. He's like a top level triathlete.
Lionel Sanders on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. And he's like, top level triathlete, and he does heaps of YouTube stuff, and he actually does those breakdowns. Yeah, right. And it's pretty cool. Like, I'm not a triathlete. I don't really know too much about the sport. Yeah. But I watch all of his stuff, and it's super cool.
Yeah, right. He's getting good views too, eh?
Yeah, he is. He does pretty well. Like, I can't see any here, but he breaks them down afterwards. He's like a Kona 2020 or whatever.
After the PTO championship,
and he goes through all of his data stuff, so like where his heart rate was, his hydration, and he'll tell everyone, it's like, this is where I stuffed up. I thought I could push through without taking that drink of water or Gatorade or whatever it was, and then you see it, it's like, yep, he went to crap after that. So it's like that is sort of what you're speaking about there. It's like breaking it down, and I find that super interesting, and that's what I've been trying to do, is find that sort of stuff and be like, okay, now I can implement that in mine. Yeah. So yeah, like I guess your question before, inspiration, I probably get a lot from this guy. Yeah, right. I watch a lot of his stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm into fitness and that side of things, so I think that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like we sort of half spoke about it before when before we even started recording, but there's just always shit to work on, eh?
Yeah.
Like it's just even for us, like we've got the US studio that we're working on, and then we're like got 2 YouTube channels that we work on, and then just all the building out the studio and learning new shit. It's just like this constant you sort of, it's funny because you don't really feel that much progress because you always feel like you're behind because you always got so much shit that you can do. But it's cool, like when you've got that much available for you to continue to work on, it just, the time just goes by, and then you look up, all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, like we went to count the I went to count the total views, like we just hit like a new million on the iTunes, and then I was like, fuck, we'd have to be getting close to 10 million views, like downloads of iTunes and views on YouTube. And then I went and looked, and it was 14 mil.
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh fuck. But you know, like you just get caught in this momentum of like just constantly trying to improve, constantly trying to get better. And then you look up and you've done a lot because you just been fucking nose to the grindstone. My sister talks a lot about like the universe, it'll like bring you down if you're too high and all that sort of thing, laws of attraction and all that. And my girlfriend was telling me not long ago, because like we're starting to get we got the 15,000 views and 17,000. She was all pumped. She's like, I've got to balance myself because we're going to get like knocked down. And I was more so in the mindset of what you just said. I was like, no, I'm thinking like we got to keep, I've got this and this and this to do. Like I don't think I'm like killing it right now. I was like, oh, I'm so far behind. I've still got all of this to do. And I think it's definitely the better way to look at it. Because you're just like constantly working, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy hell, like we're killing it now. We're doing this, or we've got that done. And it's definitely like, it's a good way to get progress, I think, just to be constantly trying to do something else. And a new set of skills too, you know, like you're dealing with just a whole new what work did you do before?
I was a fire tech, so service fire extinguishers, sell fire extinguishers, and that sort of thing. So nothing to do with,
very different.
Very different. Nothing to do with tech stuff like computers or whatever. I just legit sell fire extinguishers and go into shops and check that they're in the green zone and whatever else. So very different job.
That's you're in a completely different landscape now.
It's all learning, but it's pretty cool to learn about it. And I've actually found that because I've never been much of like a learning sort of guy. I'm not like someone who reads a lot or anything like that, but doing this stuff and stuff that you're actually excited about, it's like I would get excited to learn then.
I gotta put this fucking dog outside. I don't know what his problem is.
I was wondering what it was before, like something tickling my leg, and the dog was in there licking my knee.
Tommy's got some casserole in the microwave by the smell of things, so he's just skitting out. Fucking stupid dogs ruin me train of thought. What was I going to talk about next? Ronan, fuck, what was I going to talk about?
I don't know, mate.
What was I going to talk about? Come on, mate. Aren't you over there taking notes and shit?
Yeah, you're on the YouTube.
On the YouTube.
On the YouTube grind.
You're unreal. Thanks, bro.
That was 30 minutes ago, mate.
What the fuck was I going to talk about? This is just going to be a nice little segue into what we were doing.
We were talking about work for a bit there. Like what I'm doing for work. Fire extinguishers.
Yeah,
like, do you need some fire extinguishers, mate? I can hook you up.
We probably do need fire extinguishers.
Mate, I still got my ticket. I can hook you guys up.
Perfect. No, you know what it was you said something at the start, which is funny. Dean Lucas, he's been on the podcast a couple of times, a real good friend of mine now, and he was saying that years ago, like he started his own podcast now called the Off Track Experience, and like years ago when Instagram was first sort of popping off and people started making videos and stuff, he was just like, nah, fucking, I'm probably too cool for that. Like the people that go all in on that are kind of like the fucking nerds, and I'm like one of the cool riders, I'm on the cool team, I got the factory, you know, like I don't really want to do that shit. Sort of like lowering himself, you know what I mean? Like that was his mindset. And I think that was the mindset of a lot of people. Like if you're you know, if you weren't just focusing on racing and you weren't like kind of one of the cool dudes or whatever, then you're fucking cooking it. And it was only, you know, it was the people that couldn't make shit happen that were doing this. And now you look at, the guys like Jeff and AJ, and there's, you know, like Team Fried and what Dino does. Like a lot of these guys are sort of figuring it out. And you said at the start, you know, 3 years ago you were doing this, but you were just too nervous to put it out. Like, that's a real thing to overcome, isn't it?
Oh, it is for sure. And it's because I've always been the shy kid too. Like I said, I was best mates with Jay, and it was always funny. Like growing up, like Jay was a popular kid. It was almost like I was the nerdy kid sort of thing. And I just loved dirt bikes the whole time, and all I really wanted to talk about was dirt bikes. So I was like, me and Jay were good mates, and then Jay was good mates with everybody else. So I've like never been someone who's real talkative or anything like that. But I love dirt bikes, and I love like talking about dirt bikes and doing that sort of stuff. So when I had the idea to do it, I was like, oh, it'd be super cool to show people what we do. And I was like, I watched a couple, I was like, no way I can put that out.
Yeah.
People are going to think I'm an idiot, like they're going to think I'm a loser and whatever, like putting out stuff like this. But it's exactly what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
It's just I've got a better camera now and whatever. But it's exact same stuff 3 years ago that I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool to like just make that leap, and now it's like turning into something.
And so what was it that made you go, fuck it, I don't care what people think, I'm just going to do it?
I think I was struggling to work out how I was going to go racing.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go racing. I felt like no matter what I was going racing, I was going to figure it out. And then, so Dean and Renee, during COVID, they were like, we're taking off, we're forgetting about racing, it's not going to happen, we're just going to take off and go coaching. If you guys want to come along, you can help out a couple coaching schools and stuff like that. So I just said to Michaela, I was like, this is sort of the time we've got a camera, we could just go for it.
Yeah.
We went, and I actually sold a dirt bike, and that whole dirt bike went into a camera and computer that could run the camera and stuff, and I couldn't believe that I just spent that much money. And so I didn't have money to buy a bike anymore. I legit sold the bike to get that. And then Dean actually helped me out with one of his old practice bikes, and I got that thing, and I was like, yeah, let's just go for it, sort of thing. Because I saw what they did. They just went, it's not working, without even second thought, we're going to go coaching because there's no racing. So I was like, they just made that decision in an instant. I was like, yep, sweet, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to show what I'm doing this year, and we're just going to make it happen. Yeah, so it was
sick.
Pretty, it all happened pretty quick, and really quick actually. And then, from then we've just been slowly just going and going and going. Heaps has changed in between. Like, we were living in a house when I first started, and then we're like, this isn't going to work because we don't have money to pay for it. Yeah. So we're like, we'll break the lease and live in the van. And we, during the whole time, like, we were living in the house and figuring it out, we were building the van up, because I did it from scratch. I swapped it for my old beat up Hi-Ace, and this thing wasn't even running, the van I'm in now. And so it was all big risk, really. Like, if you look back and look at it, as probably to a lot of people it seemed pretty stupid what I was trying to do, but it's starting to sort of pay off now, about 12, 14 months later, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's looking a little bit easier.
And how do you feel, like, personally putting the content out? Because I feel like it's funny when I actually try not to watch too much of my shit at all now. But that's honestly been the best part about Ronan starting to work for this whole deal, is the fact that I don't have to listen to myself anymore.
Yeah.
Because I really don't fucking like it. I don't like watching myself. I would pretty much say everything differently if I got a second chance to say what I said. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're putting out a first draft that you don't actually even get to like polish and edit. Like, oh, I wish you said this would have been better, this sounded stupid, I fucked up that. So I'm like, all right, I'm fucking out. But it's funny now, like, I put out, like, I was just making thumbnails this morning and going through all this content that's getting posted, and it's like, sometimes I laugh because I'm like posting a thumbnail with me, and I'm like, I don't even know that fucking dude, you know. Like, it just doesn't even feel like it's me. It's just I feel like I'm just like, it's just my job. Like, I just put out that shit, and I'm not looking at it like it's me. honestly don't give a fuck what people think anymore because it's just too tiring. Like we just put out so much content that like I just can't think. I can't care about that now. Yeah. We've sort of gone past that. Yeah. So it's like, but at the start, man, fucking it. I think there was probably a while, even though I was doing the podcast and it was doing well, there was probably a part of me that wasn't even like all in terms of like being open to it even doing well. Like I kind of was still like, fuck, I don't want this thing to get too big yet. Let's just see how it goes. You know, like it's a weird thing when you're putting yourself out there to so many people. But I wonder how you feel about that in the year that you've been doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I struggled hard to start with. I'd do about 1,000 takes of everything I was trying to say. Yeah. And then it would take forever to try to make a video. Yeah. And we were so worried about any background noise and stuff like that we'd end up in a dark little crappy room and like the lighting would be horrible and everything instead of just like relaxing with it. Yeah. Whereas now I'm definitely a lot more casual. I don't mind watching myself anymore. It's fine. But I'm definitely not at a stage where I like don't care what other people think. I need to get better at that because I feel like I must be doing better because I'm starting to get like negative comments and they always say like until you get people hating on you, sort of you're not doing anything. And I still care about that too much. And I reply to all of them and be like super nice. But
what are the negative comments you got so far?
Oh, just people just telling me like, what are you just saying I'm a massive sook or whatever. I'm trying to explain why I did bad and be like, oh, like, yeah, I didn't set this up right or whatever. And so I'm not making an excuse, but they're like, oh, you're just making excuses. Stop being a sook. Stop being a bitch sort of thing. Just make it happen. And then one guy's like, horrible camera quality. Like, what are you doing? It's 2021. Get a real camera. And was like going off. Yeah. And it's like the very next comment was like, unreal video, guys. Like, people just go on there just to blow you up. Just tell you. The main one is just like, stop being a bitch. Stop sooking. Yeah. It's like, I feel like a lot of the stuff with mine is it's so real that I tell everyone that like what I stuffed up. Yeah. So it's like if I just be like, oh yeah, it was good. It was a good ride.
Yeah, you've got to create.
But no one cares. Yeah. Like I just like, I sucked here. Like this is what I was doing, and bike was kicking here. It's like that's what I'm telling the people in my pit anyway. Yeah. So it's like I'm not making it up for the video. Yeah. It's just So that's the sort of negative stuff I get. They like think I'm just sooking all the time.
Yeah, I think at the start too, you think that a comment carries so much weight. But like, so there, for example, there's like one video where like people just fucking ripping on me. Like literally the entire comment section is like people talking shit on me. But it's like 3,000 comments or 1,500 comments, but it's a video that's got like 400,000 views. Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay. So there's 3,000 dickheads out of, and you know what? Some of them probably have a fucking point, but it's like there's 3,000 people out of the 400,000 actually fucking cared enough to say something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that, you know, the perspective, because you just look like one comment and then there's views is written there. It's so hard to get your head around how many people didn't comment. They just watched and enjoyed your video. Yeah. And it's like that outweighs the fucking one dipshit that leaves a negative comment anyway.
Yeah. And even like people telling you what you should do. I think that was one that I at the start let persuade me too much. They're like, oh, you should do this instead. Yeah. And like a different way of filming or different way of talking about stuff. Whereas like you said, there was 1,000 people that watched it and like probably loved what I did. Yeah. So that one guy was like, oh, you should do this. It's like, I might make that one guy happy in the next video, but everyone else like, what the hell? Yeah. I was watching you for this reason. Yeah. Yeah. It is it's a weird thing that people can just go on and just blow you up. But
yeah. I think I just think you'll get used to it over time too. That it's like you still, I still read a lot of the comments, even though we get a fuckload of them.
So I go on there and write a massive paragraph like defending myself.
Oh yeah, no.
And then I've had a couple guys be like, "Don't defend yourself to this idiot." Yeah. Like they comment and be like, "This guy's just a wanker. Just leave it."
I just try and troll people that are like being dickheads, essentially. Like I'll just write dumb shit back to them. Like there was one. I did give a thoughtful response to a guy the other day because he took something that I said out of the AJ podcast. Like, I don't know whether he took it out of context or I just didn't say it right. Yeah. So like, there's definitely a possibility that I didn't say it right. But my point was that there's like a game you have to play on YouTube. Like you have to do the thumbnails, you have to do the titles, you have to play with context, you have to do that. Otherwise it won't do anything. And then the guy's point, and I sort of just said like, I just don't give a fuck. I've accepted it. It is what it is. Like, what if you think that the title and thumbnails fucking like out of context, or watch the video, get the context. Like, it's not my job to give you the context in the thumbnail and the title, because then you wouldn't need to watch the video. So I just accepted that. And you know, the thing is like, his point was like, oh, well, you're just selling out for views then. I'm like, yeah, but that's the only metric. Like, that's the only thing that matters. Like, you do the job to get more views, and more views equals more money.
Yeah, that's the whole goal, is to get views.
Yeah, so I replied, I kind of had a bit of a conversation, and I'm glad I did, though, to be honest, and I'm glad I wasn't a dick about it, because I actually was in a shit mood and I felt like being a dick about it. But the guy ended up saying like, oh man, thanks for explaining it. Like, I was a bit disappointed because I'm a real long time listener. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, like, glad I'm not fucked it, because, you know, here's a guy that could have, you know, we got fucking 200 plus shows. So it's like, what if he's listened to 150 of those shows, and then all of a sudden you write him off like he's an idiot? Yeah. And it's like, that's a lot of time that dude's invested for me to be a dick, you know? But that was one where I was like, fuck, I feel like I should explain the point. But if it's just people that are like, we got way too fucking stoned the other day when I was talking to Mike Grondel, and it's like, I just probably stopped making sense at a point, but it was just fun. Like, we were having a fun conversation, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that you definitely can't let those things like get too in deep. You probably shouldn't spend too much time writing long paragraphs.
Yeah, I know. I definitely spend way too much time, and I comment to every single person, and I'm like, hopefully I get big enough one day so I don't have to do that.
Yeah, you definitely
It's like, yeah, I do every single comment, but no, it's cool. I think it's a cool thing at this point. Yeah. Because it's like, it makes me even more relatable, and people like proper Joel Evans fans, then they're like, come back and like, oh yeah, man, like, killed it from last time, and like they comment every single time, and like a positive thing. So it's it's cool because you got that interaction, but I think there's a level where you got to be like, it's all good. Just leave it.
And I think that it's super important as well, and it's probably something that I didn't embrace quick enough, is the whole, you know, like, we got the Gypsy gang, like, and that's a fucking dope thing. That's probably like the best part of this job, is all of the cool ass fucking people that listen to the show. Like, that's what makes it what it is. And I guess it'll be the same for your channel, you know? Like, the thing that will make your channel what it is the people that watch your channel. And I think the more that you can engage, the more like genuine. You can't do it and be a slave to it, though. Like, you've got to you know, have your own boundaries and shit. But yeah, like, if you could be a good genuine dude to people like that are investing in your success, because there's so much power in, like, if you've got a community of 1,000 people that are like super dedicated, like, I think a lot of times, and I've probably thought like this too, that you want to just get the most views possible, the biggest numbers, but you know, you can have that and have like a huge percentage of people just not be aligned with what you're about at all. Yeah. And then it's like, what's the point? Yeah. You got like 5,000 or 1,000 people that are just like hardcore Joel Evans fans that like really want to see you do well. Like, that's a strong fucking community of people.
Yeah, definitely. I actually found that listening to a few things, like I don't know what you and Mathis is like, but I'm a pop guy. Like, I listen to a bunch of pop stuff, and his fans are so loyal. Yeah. That like, I'm pretty sure his socials and stuff, his numbers aren't as big as like Swap Moto and stuff like that. But like, he tells you to buy something, like, those guys just go crazy and they'll buy it because they're massive, like, they're proper hardcore fans of him. Yeah.
And he's just, and again, like, you talk about adding value, like, he's added a lot of value to a lot of people over the years.
And then even like your stuff, it's like, oh, I like Gypsy Tales, and I see I've got Boost Mobile now. Like, I had no chance, like, no reason to ever go Boost, but I was like, they support your stuff, so I'm gonna go. I bought the $300 like Boost Mobile year plan thing, whatever it was. Yeah. And I was like, yep, sweet. They help him. They're in motorbikes. Awesome. I'll do that. So, and I think that's, if you get those loyal fans and you're like, hey, this helps me if you guys support these guys. And they, like, I've already had people like, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy some unit gear. Yeah. For the 21 range, or like Maxxis tires. I've had so many people message me and say they've changed to Maxxis tires.
That's awesome.
And it's like, because those guys support me now. And I'm like, that's pretty cool to start seeing that already. Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, was what kind of opportunities have opened up already? I feel like the raceline thing's probably, one of the most obvious ones that look like it's really opened up for you.
Yeah, those guys, Unit was honestly, that's how I got those guys on board to start with.
Yeah.
Was I've always, like, I saw, again, like, I was sort of good mates with Jay, but I also looked up to him a little bit. And he was Unit when he first went senior. And I was like, that's cool, I want that one day. And then I got this chance and I had this idea. I went straight to those guys and I drove from Kingaroy like 3.5 hours, went to their warehouse, handed him over a proposal and stuff. It's like, this is what I want to do.
That's so sick.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I didn't expect this. Like, no one does this. And I was like, yeah, well, if we can do something. And those guys have been pumped on it. And like, I don't think they would have ever come on without what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Because it's something different, I guess. And like, those sort of opportunities have been really cool. And it's honestly the stuff that's opened up sponsorship wise and that hasn't been too much just yet. But I'm starting to see how it could be. It's just that I still think I've got to start approaching people and doing different stuff. But
it's hard, but because it takes away from the actual editing.
Yeah, it does. And it's like I'm trying to weigh up right now like how I approach everything, because sometimes it's cool not to have any sponsors. In a way, because you're just so open, especially if what I'm doing, like creating content. If I want to, like, people are interested to know what Pro Circuit pipe versus FMF pipe is. But if I've got sponsored by Pro Circuit, I can't really say, oh, FMF killed it or whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, just working on all that at the moment. I don't have too much opportunities opened up, but the few people I do have, like Raceline, Unit, bunch of different people like this, it's pretty, like, they're just super cool to me. Sort of what I need is what I get.
Yeah, that's so good, man. What are you thinking for the Nationals this year? Like, even pull apart, like, put aside you racing the Nationals. Like, how do you feel about the Nationals this season? And obviously last year we missed out. And then this year it's Oz Pro MX. And like, what are you thinking around the whole sort of industry at the moment?
I think it's a cool opportunity, obviously, with the change and stuff, and then putting it on TV. I'm not sure that that's the best idea in this day and age. I'd actually be pretty keen to hear your thoughts on that. But I think it's cool opportunity, cool time to be a fan of the sport, just because of how many fast dudes there are right now. I think that side of things is going to be super cool for Nationals. Like, the top 15 MX2 guys, maybe even more, are ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And then it's probably almost the same MX1 this year. Usually MX1's a little bit shallower. The top is really high, but it's only 5 or whatever. I feel like this year there's more.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the racing's going to be sick. Really cool.
So why ride the 450? Do you think that you can be more competitive on the 450 than the 250?
Originally, I run out of money. Was like just straight up.
It's a lot more expensive, to ride a 250.
It is, yeah. Because you got to get stuff done to it. Like, you don't have to, but you're going to be more competitive if you do. And then as well, you have to rebuild them so often because you're revving them. Like, they work the best on limiter, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, you're going to wear them out quicker. Whereas a 450, you can put 60 hours on it and, like, oh, I'll chuck a piston in and you go another 60 hours sort of thing. So it's pretty cool in that way. And once I jumped on it, though, I feel like that suits my style. I'm only small. I'm 65 kilos. Like, I'm pretty light. But I like that smooth style of the 450. I'm not always been a big rever or anything like that. So that smooth, low rev, and then just get aggressive when you need to style, I think that suits me. And I feel like I'm pretty good on it. Like, I feel like I honestly believe I can be pretty competitive. Like, I reckon I've got goals of I want to try to get a super pole this year.
Yeah, right.
Like, be the fastest dude.
Yeah.
And I honestly think I can do it. Like, I feel pretty quick on the bike.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. So, who are you thinking 450 class? Give me your breakdown of the 450 class for this Nationals.
I think Todd's going to be the hardest to beat.
Yeah,
for sure. I think Medi is going to be crazy fast. But he's funny. Like, I don't know him. I don't want to make it seem like I'm dissing him or whatever, but it seems like he rides like a rookie almost when you watch him. It's so funny because he's like a veteran and obviously he's got so much experience, but he's so fast, and he revs the bike a lot, but he seems to have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on his fault or like the bike or whatever it is, but it seems like, yeah, he has a few issues, but I know like his speed is ridiculous. I saw earlier in the year, Wonthaggi had a race and he was like,
really
way faster than everyone.
Really?
Yeah, they had a
race.
race
Was that when
down
he
there.
rode that 21? Like when they just got him?
Probably. I'm not too sure, but I just looked at like through the race results and stuff. He was like 3 seconds a lap faster than, I can't remember who the second guy was, but it was like 3 seconds a lap faster than another top dude.
Yeah,
like Gypsy and stuff was there, and I think he was even faster than Gypsy, like 4 or 5 seconds a lap. And I was like, holy, this guy must be flying.
Well, dude, Matty's at one time was like one of the best dudes in the world.
Yeah.
Like, he actually doesn't get enough credit for how fucking fast he is, eh?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think people sort of talk about him enough in that aspect. And you can see it when you watch him ride, like, because I'm a fan of it, and I'm like, I race obviously, but I'm a massive fan of dirt bikes too. So, his speed is next level. Yeah. He's pretty aggressive.
The last 2 times that I've been at the track, like at a Aussie outdoor, people were just saying that Matty just was being a fucking nightmare of wanting to change shit on the bike.
Yeah, right, okay.
Just like I think it was Coolum, they were saying, oh yeah, he's on his practice bike with like his race motor. Like there was some like weird shit going on. So I think last year or the last season of the Nationals, I think that he was just chasing setup like super hard.
Yeah, okay.
Which would be frustrating. Like I can't imagine having to race a season and just be like chasing a setup so much.
I think that's what I've found since going 452. It's so important. It's
Set
like
up?
250. Yeah, 250 you can get away with it, but you honestly feel like you got a truck between your legs. It's crazy that they're the same weight. Like they're pretty well the same weight bike, but
Me
you
and
feel
Ryan
like
were
you've
just
got,
talking about that this morning.
Yeah, like if this thing steps out, I'm like, I feel like I got a bus between my legs.
Yeah.
Like actually, it scared the crap out of me when I first started riding it. Because especially if you like slide your knees forward a little bit, you got so much bike behind you.
Yeah.
And it steps out just the tiniest bit. You're like, holy, like how am I going to bring this thing back? And yeah, that's where bike setup I've found is super important. And like on my YouTube stuff, I think people started to get a bit annoyed with how much I was talking about setup, but it's so important, and it's something I was constantly chasing, trying to get it better. It's not because the bike sucked, it's just I know like I'll make a change and I'll go 2 seconds a lap faster.
Yeah, right.
And that's
what
like,
sort of changes are you making?
Just like suspension stuff, like to try different pro circuit linkage, standard linkage, and then just clicker stuff and suspension work, because it's that balance between being soft so you can feel the bike, feel the ground really well, but then stiff enough to hold up. And that's something I've found is like I was like wanting to go softer and softer because I was like, oh, it's going to be nice, but then I got on a rough track and it just beat me up. It's like tried to kill me sort of thing, because the bike could go all the way through and then come back and just crazy stuff like that.
And how much did the video help you set up?
It does help a bit, because I'm not that good at test. I suck at it, I think, at the moment.
It's really hard though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's many people that are good at it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I know like Sleater obviously is here now. I really want to try to link up with him.
Yeah.
Because it'd be really cool, I think, to learn how to do it a little bit. And obviously he's one of the best.
Yeah.
So, because like I'll go to the track, and I've been with Sean before and being like, yeah, I think it's a bit stiff, let's do this. And I'm like, that's better. But then I went and rode someone else's bike and it blew mine away.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was going better from a shit setup sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get a good setup, and I just didn't know what's good. Yeah. If that makes sense.
That's exactly how I feel. I rode Ferris's practice bike.
Yeah.
It was a 250F. Adam Bailey was borrowing it when he was up here, so he's borrowing it from Raceline.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe it was his race bike 250, like his Sonny's race bike kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But it had cone valves and track shock in the rear.
Yeah.
And then I rode it, and I was like, the rear shock was so much better than stock. And it would just like, it's almost like I was just riding like the QMP natural terrain track.
Yeah.
And you turn in, those ruts get pretty good, and you turn in, and it was like the bike was turning in so much more with like the same amount of me trying to turn it.
Yeah.
The bike would just like lean and turn. on it completely on its own, and you'd end up with like this crazy lean angle, and then that made me hit the throttle to like pull the fucking thing out of the turn.
Lift it back up. Yeah.
So I was just like, holy shit, like this bike just turns good.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. And then I was talking to Bailey. Bailey went and rode mine. He's obviously a way better rider than me. And he was like, yeah, this shock's like real hard in like the mid stroke. It doesn't sit all the way into the turn. So it was like a little bit too hard, and then it was rebounding too much. So like you're sitting into the turn, and it's coming out as like right in the middle section.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I would have never known that. I thought my bike was fucking great at the time.
Yeah.
But then you get on a different bike that's set up, you know, in a different way, and it can just completely change what you expect good is.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I've done a little bit lately. Is I've just jumped on random just other people's bikes just to be like, even if it's a different brand, I just jump on a Yamaha and I'm like, holy, I love how that does that, and I just try to make my bike do it, sort of thing. Just it gives me a direction more so, because it's so hard just to be like, this is what you got, build what you want, because I don't know. It's so hard to know exactly what you want, whereas someone like Dean, he knows exactly. He can go to Sean and be like, no, I need this, need that, need that, and just they can just go in that direction.
Because he pretty much wasn't allowed to do that at Yamaha in America, eh?
No.
Yeah.
Nah, he couldn't do anything that he wanted to do.
That's crazy, eh? Because he runs a weird setup, doesn't he?
He does a bit. I remember the first time I rode one of his bikes, so you'll probably struggle to turn it. I don't like my bikes to turn. He's like, his forks are so stiff. Yeah. They feel like supercross forks to me. And then the rear sits a bit low, and it's like, doesn't move.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's designed to not turn almost, like how he
sort
of likes it.
So how does he get the thing to turn? Like, what's he doing differently in his technique?
He's just so strong. He puts the bike, and he's hitting stuff so fast that it makes the suspension work. Whereas it's like the way that I ride is I'm not as aggressive, so I need it to be a little bit softer to hold the ground and stuff I'm finding. Whereas he, probably the same as Todd almost, they're super... Dean had a little bit different. He has like an aggressive and smooth style. Whereas Todd, I feel like, is super aggressive how he comes into stuff, and you got to change the bike to how you ride as well. And the way that Dean would come into corners, it would make his bike work. You put always heaps of front brake, so that drops the front end, and then I think that allows it to turn a little bit.
Yeah.
But he said, typically people can't turn my bike.
So, because I watched one of your videos where you got cone valves and a track shock from Raceline, but it had Dean's setup in it. Yeah. And Sean said to you, like, you're not going to like this bike because no one likes Dean's shit. And you didn't like it, did you? Yeah,
well, that was one of the funny ones where I was so sick of trying to work out what to do that I was like, give me Dean stuff, he's winning. Like, he knows what he's doing. So I got his exact setup, fork shock, spring rate, everything. And then went and rode on it for months. And I was like, I think this is good. And I rode something else and was like just so much faster.
Really?
I was like, I sucked on that bike because I couldn't make it do what he could make it do.
Yeah.
Which, like, you could see where it's really good. If you smashed into something super hard, it would work awesome. But if you didn't, it just felt like you were riding, I don't know, some steel poles in the front end, and like it just didn't move. It was so stiff.
I've got those forks in my bike at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
And I've just the first day I rode with them, I was at MX Farm, and they were pretty sick. Yeah. But it wasn't super rough, and the dirt was quite tacky. So actually, even though they were stiff, I still could feel the front end.
Yeah.
And then, and that was the day I overjumped the triple at MX Farm because my subframe bolts come out, and I saw a seat bounce the jump, just went, whoa, fucking whiskey, dude. And then I landed, just whack so hard, didn't feel a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even think I overjumped it that far.
Yeah.
But then I looked at the video and I was like, holy shit. But they were his forks, and then the next day I rode at Coolum. And it was pretty rough, and they worked actually pretty good there because the bumps were so fucking big.
Yeah.
But then last weekend I rode at MX Farm, and like it just wasn't that grippy, and it was like kind of a little bit rough, and I fucking hated that setup. It was so bad. So I think I really need to get them set up a bit better for me, because like they're fucking stiff.
Oh, you'll love it once you get set up more for you, like, because MX Farm is exactly where Dean's bike won't work on like a more hard pack day.
Yeah. That's what I found, dude. I just was over it. I was just like, this thing's fucking out of control.
Because the bumps there are hard pack and chattery. Yeah. And it's like that bike does not work there.
Yeah, it was just like you got no traction. It's just like the front wheel can move, like sway underneath you. I was just like, I don't trust this fucking thing.
Yeah. But it's funny how like that they couldn't get that Yamaha right for him.
Nah. But I don't think they would try it. I don't think they'd let him, from what I heard anyway.
Yeah, from what Dean's told me, it's like that they wouldn't let him try anything. And
they wouldn't let Barsha do anything even.
No one, not Plessinger. No, it's crazy. It's crazy when you like a fan of it. Yeah. And that was one of those things where I was ignorant because that's another level where I was talking about.
Yeah.
We've been in it forever.
Yeah.
But I was just always under the impression if you got a factory bike, it was like whatever you wanted, and that thing was going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, like I probably, I don't know, I can't blow out too much of what he said because he might get in trouble, but he was not a fan of it.
Yeah. No, but no one was. And that ended up ruining that team. Like that team went away because from what I heard, this isn't blowing Dean out at all, but like management just no one could change bikes. They just didn't have any kind of, they wouldn't let the riders have any direction, and it's just completely ruined the season. It's like made that bike sound like the biggest piece of shit to everybody. But then you look at Star, and like first race of the year, Ferrandis was on the podium, and you know, like they've had Plessinger on the podium, and 3 bikes in the top 10 on that 450. So just a different group of people letting riders do what they want to do, and it's completely changed that motorcycle.
Yeah, to me it makes zero sense. Like, dude, why would a manufacturer not want to do something that's going to make the bike better? Because the bike is going, like, the rider's going to do better. It's going to look better for Yamaha. Like, nothing about that situation that I can see makes Yamaha look bad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree on that, eh?
Yeah, like and apparently they asked for Star's setup, just give us that.
Yeah, right.
And weren't allowed.
Yeah, dude, it's insane, eh? But they like the crazy thing too is Dean went over on that privateer, essentially just his CDR bike, took his CDR suspension, and then got on the fucking podium at High Point.
Yeah.
So it's just like, just let the dude do what he wants to do. He's obviously knows what's going on. And you'd have to just expect that if you get, you know, you win 4 Australian champions. That's what Dean won, right? 4 titles. Did he win 3 or 4?
4.
Yeah, 4.
Maybe 3. I don't know. Sorry. I lost it. Ronan. I think it's 3. I think 16 to 19.
Yeah. 16, he's a fucking animal. Like, why would you not let that dude have the suspension that he wants?
Yeah. Which year did he go to America?
Oh, I can't remember.
I think, I'm pretty sure he come back in 16. And
Dean Ferris was a 6-time member of the Australian Motocross Nations team. 10, 13, 15, 16, 17, 19. Wow.
Tell you what, that Yamaha he rode in 13, that 250.
The Cosworth one?
That would have been a sick bike to ride.
The 3 gears,
3-gear
right?
bike, that's what he said. I was like,
Doesn't
that's
he still
nuts.
have one of those?
He got it. Yeah, he was trying to get the exact, like, all the parts and everything, but I don't think he ended up getting all the parts.
Yeah, right.
But he's got, like, because Renee, he got her to ride it a couple of times, like, put factory suspension and stuff in it. She had no idea. But she was just cruising around, and, it was legit, like, pretty well a full factory Cosworth Yamaha she was cruising around on, like, just around the farm.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
He, did it say how many he's won? Just have a look. This is pretty cool.
This is cool. What's this on?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Dean Ferris.
Oh, MXGP results. No, it won't be in there. There you go.
I really
Dean
should
Ferris
know
championship term. Nah, that's alright. That's why we got the computer. Can't know everything. Well. Dude,
he won some championships.
He definitely did. He's had a pretty insane career, eh?
Yeah, for sure. It's so it's cool sort of how he did it as well, I think.
Yeah.
It's sort of inspiring to me and cool because I don't think he was really the guy that you would say had all the talent either. Like he, I feel like he's just worked to get where he is.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like it wasn't just from talent. Like obviously he has talent, but I really believe most of it's from work and then working on different stuff. Like he told me actually in his under-19 season where he started to do pretty good, he didn't do a single moto that whole year. Not a 20-minute moto, not nothing.
Really?
He just did corners and sections. And
really?
Because he's like, skill is going to make me fast, not being fit. Like, I need to be faster, so he worked on skills and stuff like that, and that blew me away. I was like, oh, wow. Like, he just said he did wheelies and jumps and ruts and, like, just sections. He said did not do a single moto.
Yeah.
And like I said, he just saw his speed go from, like, one level just to a whole new level.
Yeah. The thing that I really like about Dean, and it's the thing that people don't like about him or don't appreciate about him, is that, like, I never knew until I went and stayed at his place in Kyogle, and then I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I get why he's so good, and I get what he's about now, you know? Because I think that a lot of people, and I was probably one of these people that started, I was just like, he's just boring.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing cool about him, you know? Like, you'd kind of, if you just saw him on the weekends at the race, there was just nothing flashy, nothing cool, like nothing that you could really kind of get behind with him. But then when I went to his house and I saw how he lives, the setup, the, you know, like the way that he treats racing, it's just his craft.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a fucking blacksmith making swords. You know what I mean? But the swords is like his motocross, you know, racecraft. And it's just, he lives in this little town on the family farm that he grew up in. He's got this house and a garage that he's got his cycle bike in, and he just goes to work, and it's just a process. And then you see his wife's out there on the pit board, and the girls are out there with him, and he's got his machinery that he does the track work on. And it's just like he lives in this self-sufficient hub, and it's like that's where he just does his work. And that's the thing that is, it almost seemed to me like that was the enjoyment that he got out of it, was just the putting in the work. And as I've gotten older, fuck, I appreciate that. You know, like, it's so cool. And it's just, you know, I don't think he was appreciated enough during his career for those kind of things, because you just didn't see him, you know, like, and he wasn't the kind of guy that advertised it or cared for people to, they're like, oh, look how hard I work, everybody. Like, he just didn't care. Like, he wasn't caring about being cool, didn't want any of this shit that went along with it. He just wanted to be in Kyogle, get his fucking work done, get better at riding, and he had a great career because of it.
That it's just totally exactly what you just said is how it worked. He was just in his bubble, had his track, gym, cycle. That's all he needed. It's like, I'm just going to put in the work, and then you'd go there and be like, every day you get up, do a little stretch warm up, go put in your motos, go to the gym, like, now eat, go to sleep. It was like, he just did that again, and like he did not want the anything. Like, the only way he would do socials is because CDR would ever say you need to do a post. So at the end of the riding, he'd hit 2 corners and get Renee to take a video. And then that was it. Not really a caption with it, just like riding today or a throttle emoji or something, and back to it tomorrow. It's like, it's pretty nuts.
It's a cool way to live your life, man. I think it's like a underappreciated way. Like, it's just not that flashy, but the more that like, I guess the older I get, and I think too, like, COVID last year kind of forcing you to stay in the one place. I've actually, like, I really enjoy that shit now. You know, like, I crave a good predictable routine where I can do my work without distractions, and then I crave being able to train every day and, you know, get better, just, you know, slowly just get better at things, and not have, I guess, the thing that stops it is all the different pressures that you gotta, like, you know, I gotta go to work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Like, I guess it's a bit easier when you're in control of your environment a little bit more. But I mean, even if you work a full-time job and you work 8 hours a day, you got 16 hours you know, free to kind of to cultivate that kind of lifestyle. But when I went there and did that film project with him for Fox, I really got to appreciate Dean Ferris.
And you just see, like, it, even I'm sure with the photo shoot, he would have been like, I'm just going to do my work, and then you just like, you just take videos or something like that. I could have, like, I wasn't there, but I imagine that's what he would have been like, because it's just like, he doesn't give a shit. He's like, we're just doing the work.
Super cool dude, and it's a bummer that he retired and the way that he did. Would have been really cool to see him get another season in with Toddy.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think a lot of people wanted to see that with Toddy starting to go a bit better and whatever.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch Toddy and Mossy.
Yeah, it'll be excitement anyway. Anyone in Mossy, I think he seems to be. Man, his social stuff blows my mind sometimes.
What, like the videos and shit he's posting? Or?
Just like, he's basically just says everyone in MX1's crap. They should be embarrassed. He's like, he actually said that in a post.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, these teams and stuff should be embarrassed. I just smoked them. I'm out the back, changed my own clutch. And I was like, shit, yeah.
Well, he did win that race, I guess.
Yeah, I actually at Kingaroy at Sunny State, he went there for round 2 of Sunny State. Was that the one that he
smoked everyone?
No, this was...
Kingaroy's where he crashed, right?
Yeah, he crashed. Yeah. And I was like, I saw it, I actually caught him during our hot lap, like sprint lap, because you get 7 minutes. It's like, you've got to just quickly put in a lap.
Yeah.
I caught him, and then he got caught up with someone, so like we were both sort of waiting for a lap. And we come in just before the start-finish line, and I like full cut him off so hard on limiter. Like, I think I tapped him a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And I just heard Yamaha limiter behind me the whole lap. I was like, oh, I'm going to get cut in half. But no, it's going to be exciting within there, I think.
Yeah.
I honestly think, I probably don't want to get in his bad side, but I don't think he's going to be there with Todd.
Yeah.
I think Todd's just got too much, and I think Mossy's going to be fast, super fast, but I don't think he's going to be quite there.
Yeah.
Just with the time and stuff he's had off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think he said, he's messaged me a couple of times, like we've sort of had a few back and forwards, and, you know, he said that, you know, he's doing it with a full-time job and working and stuff, and he's got a point, but there's not many dudes in Australia right now that are full-time making a wage just from riding, you know, like I know Todd had a bunch of shit go down with Husky. I don't really know the details of it all, but I know that a lot of people aren't getting a lot this year. So, you know, Todd's running his mechanic, like his T-Dub garage and his coaching. Yeah. So not a lot of dudes are riding full-time in 2021. So, I mean, I think this will be a very interesting year in Australian motocross. Like it's a real reset in so many different ways, because it sort of feels like last year rock bottom.
Yeah.
COVID, no series, a bunch of people pulling out, a bunch of teams going away, Dean getting hurt, Dean retiring. Like, fuck, man, heavy year for Australian motor. Like, it just wasn't even on my mind at all. And then you want to throw in the fact that Sam Moore's Instagram post announcing his new Gas 450 gets more likes and comments than Aaron Tanti's. It's like, whoa, fuck, we're in trouble here, guys, because that dude's way faster than Sam. But yeah, so it feels like this year could be like, so saying all that, I don't know if that's a bad thing.
No.
You know, like we get a chance. It's like a fresh reset.
Yeah.
I'm super keen to watch, especially the Todd and Mossy thing. And you're right, like, Todd's just a fucking animal, man. Like, he just is on some different shit when it comes to, like, training and being good for those 30-minute motos. Like, he's a fucking animal, and he trains like a fucking animal. So I think that it's probably going to be pretty hard for Mossy to beat him over those motos over that long. But, like, pretty excited to have Mossy back in the sport. And, hey, he's done his time. He served his band. And he's fucking back.
Yeah.
And I'm keen.
Yeah, I'm keen. Just going back to the season, like the reset and everything, I think it's super cool and something I've seen that you're starting to do now a bit as well. It's like, instead of just being like, oh, the sport's like struggling, we just had this shit year. It's like, let's try to just promote it, because it is sick, and it's gonna be sick. Like you said, Mossy's gonna create fireworks. Todd's gonna be awesome. We've got so many guys. Like Meddy's gonna be fast. So let's just try to promote it a bit and be like, this season's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And like do that side of things rather than like the sport's like struggling or whatever.
I'm done with that shit attitude. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I had that attitude for a while.
I think so many people did, and it's like it's cool to start seeing people more so now just like pumped just to watch it and whatever and be back in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be super sick. I reckon this year, honestly, to be a fan is going to be cool for Australian motocross because there's so many unknowns with the teams and stuff changing. And like I said, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes and stuff. It seems like more riders are having to work and do different stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll probably make it more of an even playing field.
Yeah.
And then it's like 10 dudes battling for a win. Like, you never know. Like, I know I've raced with Todd now a couple times and Gypsy, and I can match those guys. So, like, if I get a start, I can run up there for a little bit even, and then other guys like me, and it's like, I think it's going to be unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Like, it sort of, we did come off a pretty bad year, but I think that kind of is going to make everyone keen. And the fact that guys aren't on these solid programs and, you know, the dudes at the top, because the problem with the sport in general is that it gets real top heavy. Like, the rich get richer. The guys with the factory bikes and the good money, they can get the good, you know, full-time trainers, and, you know, you can go down that road, and then it just becomes like so inaccessible for people that don't have that support to like match the effort that those guys can put in.
Yeah.
But it seems like this year, with the way that budgets are going down and stuff like that, you know, it is going to be a bit of a leveler. There are guys that you know, didn't get the paychecks that they normally get and can't invest the time that they would have usually been able to. But I think that this is when you're going to see the guys that really want to be there.
Yeah.
Because for yourself, you know, like the way that you've described your situations, like, it's pretty obvious that you want to ride dirt bikes. Like, you really want this, because it's not an easy path what you're trying to do.
No, not at all. It's like, and I think that's like what you said just then of like people who want to be there. I think that's what makes it cool, because everyone who's there wants to be there, want to do well.
Yeah.
So that's going to make it competitive. It's like, I know me, it's like, like you said, it's been a pretty hard path to get here. Like, with so many different things, you just try to make it work the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's like, so now I'm here, I'm starting to get more and more of a mindset of like, why not win?
Yeah.
Like, someone's got to win. I'm going to give it a go. If I don't, then I don't, but I may as well try. So I'm sort of coming into this year with that mindset. It's like, I'm going to try to win. It's like, I know that people expect Todd and those other guys to win, but if you come in with that mindset and you want to be there, it's like, I can go and get 10th and it doesn't matter, but I can still try to win.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's makes it exciting, and people are gonna want to be there and want to race and battle, and I know I want it. So
yeah, and I think that the fact that it pretty much went away last year kind of shows everyone that, okay, we're all in this together. If everyone doesn't make shit happen, then nothing will happen. So I think that that's kind of a good thing as well, you know, like, everyone's got a bit of perspective that this can be taken away pretty quickly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know with like with my injury of my neck and everything, and so many things you can see it can be taken away. So it's like, not old, but in motocross you're getting older. It's like, I want to really have a crack these next few years. Yeah. And it's like, just make the sport cool. Like, let's try to grow it. Let's try to get more people in the gates, because it's going to be better for me. It's going to be better for Todd. It's going to be better for you. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's going to be sweet. 100%. So what about the lights class? Who can you see if you're being a sports commentator? What do you think is going to go down the lights class?
Oh, I mean, Jay's seemed to be a tad off lately, like in the preseason stuff. I don't know if it's just like getting started late or whatever. He's always solid. I think
he said he had some like just little niggling injuries lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he might have just like little stuff going on, because he still seemed to be winning them though. Like, he's there. Yeah. But his speed, like, there's a lot of quick dudes, like just the Queensland stuff that I've seen. Yeah. Heaps of quick young fellas and stuff, and I know like Nato's going to be fast. Dobson's always fast if he can put it together. I think Kyle Webster's going to be the guy. He's sort of my guy. Yeah. I think that he's going to be really good. Yeah. I'm a bit of a Webster fan from watching. I really want Jay to win. Yeah. But I think Webster is going to be good. Yeah. I think he's going to be a front.
Jay and Kyle are like my two, like, you know, I like a few of the boys though, like Nato and Jesse. Like, there's a couple fucking lords that are going to be rolling around in the lights class this year. But yeah, I think that it's a interesting spot for the lights class in Australia, because obviously last year they had the year off. Who won the title before?
Wilson Todd.
Yes. Okay. So Wilson Todd. So he's not there. So it's like an open deal now. Yeah. Like there's no number one plate.
Did you see that he might be racing?
Oh, really?
He said, like, do you reckon there's going to be a red background number one Kawasaki on the gate?
Ooh.
And Did you hear that? I know he's in Oz.
What do you know about that, Ronan?
I just saw like the Wilson Todd Jesse Dobson thing. There was, like,
I didn't see Jesse, but
what happened there?
No, like there was like playing around, just like being friends on the stories, and then Wilson Todd was like, "Oh, you're gonna see a red number one on this bike this year."
Ooh.
So
yeah,
I don't
right.
know how many rounds he's gonna be doing before MXGP or.
Yeah. That's super smart if he does that.
It'd be sweet, like
he should do that for sure.
And then I'd probably almost start leaning towards Wilson for round one.
Yeah, you'd have to think
he was really good the year that he won. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, dude, Kyle at one Thaggy will be good, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, I feel like he's a dude that, he could have a chance winning one Thaggy regardless. Yeah. I think Regan as well. Regan's going to be... I'm excited
Regan's
to watch...
450, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm excited to watch him in the 450 class.
Yeah.
I think he could fuck shit up at certain rounds.
Yeah, you should. Look, saw his MX like Nations ride. Like the kid's got talent.
Insane.
He's fast.
Man, he turned down a bunch of rides too.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, man.
Like Europe rides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
okay. I had to get more experience or what?
Yeah, fuck. Well... I don't know whether it would have been the move to go with all like the COVID and shit.
Yeah.
And I had team managers from America call me like, "Hey, who's Regan Duffy?" And I like had to explain to like everyone.
Yeah, okay.
It was fucking gnarly.
That's cool though.
Yeah, so he's a fucking G, dude. Like that, he's got such a big future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how he'll go for the season. But I think that it's like pretty much up to like Jay or Kyle to be the dude.
Yeah.
To like step up, you know. And I feel like if you think about it, Kyle's last real racing was Motocross of Nations.
Yeah.
And he did good.
Yeah,
like really, really, really good.
It was like heartbreak sort of thing. Like he was flying and then he got stuck, like got bogged. Yeah. Whatever, but he looked good. Hey, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like he's probably going to be the dude, and I think that. Yeah, Jay. Like, so I guess the title is definitely very vacant and there's room for just someone to fully step up instantly. And because NATO is going to be fast, he's coming off a year in Europe. The Serco bike's going to be good.
He's injured though.
Is he? Oh, so fuck.
He's been injured. He's only just started riding again. I was actually riding with him yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like he'll start a little slow, I think.
Yeah.
And then come good, yeah.
So, and then the same with like Jesse. I think Jesse will be super fast, but he's never been a guy that's like, I'm here for every round of this championship.
No, he's never been.
You've got like, I will be there at Coolum. So I think that if you're looking at two guys that can do that, it's Jay and Kyle.
Yeah.
They'll be like the two guys that will probably be in with a shot the last two rounds at Coolum. And then, it's like there's a whole crew of dudes that can be faster than fuck.
Oh yeah, they can mix it up. Yeah.
So it'll be pretty cool. I wonder how good the TV is going to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping they do a good job because it's like it's obviously it's a bit of an opportunity. It's cool that it's free to air and whatever. But yeah, it's like they need to make it cool, just not make us look. You know,
who's doing the commentary and stuff?
I'm not sure the chick's name. There's a chick from like V8 Supercars. I think it does a bit. And I think Lee Hogan's got something to do with it.
Oh, that'd be cool. Lee's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the TV... Oh, here we go. Good on you, Rones. We're on. 2020, go up. 2021 Pro MX Championship to air on SBS, Fox Sport and streaming. Oh, so it is streaming as well. So 2021 we'll see the Penrite Pro MX Championship presented by... AMX Superstores boasts the biggest television package in history. Fans across the globe, blah, 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 blah. Go down. Pro MX TV will bring the viewers behind the scenes with exclusive feature content of the championship, delivering 2.5 hours of live race day action of the Thor MX1, Pirelli MX2 and Maxxis MX3 classes. What's the MX3 class? Is that the 125?
No, it's under 19s. They've changed it. Okay. So it's actually 14 to 18 now.
Dude,
so
that's
juniors
cool.
can be in it.
It's kind of like the Europe one has like, you know, the one that Jet Lawrence raced?
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
It's really cool for like talented young juniors here because obviously they don't have the chance. They can't ride on the same tracks as the pros and stuff. Even if you're a super fast 14-year-old,
I am all
you can't do it. So like this is super cool for that.
Yeah.
Apparently there's I heard there's 90 entries for the class.
Wow.
So there's going to be like 50 dudes that don't qualify.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, they should run a B. They should run a B main.
They can if they
Seriously.
can fit it.
Like, because you're gonna have 50 dudes that don't qualify. They should run like a B main, like a 15-minute motor or something. Maybe, I guess they'll see how they go with the thing. That's fucking awesome. Who's like? Is there any super talented? Because that Brad West kid,
he's MX2.
Oh, is he? So he's racing MX2.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. He fucking rips, eh?
Yeah, he's a little bit off though. Like from the Queensland races, he's been. Because there's been 10 really fast dudes doing just the Queensland stuff so far, and he's sort of around the 8
you reckon?
Fastest.
Yeah.
Jesse's really fast right now.
Dude, he looks so good on a bike too.
He always does so. Like he just can't put it together. Yeah. But he's always really good. NATO's always really fast. Young Jace Cosford, you heard of him?
Nah.
He's actually from.
Instagram?
Oh, you should follow him.
Really?
He does some stupid like. He's one of those guys. I've told him to like be a stuntman.
Yeah.
Just because he's like just little ripped sort of kid and like just does like heaps of cool crazy stuff. Yeah, that's it. There's a cool video if you probably go back a bit. He like does a backflip off a pole.
Oh, is it that one there?
Is it a video or is that just a photo?
Photo.
Try to find that video. Yeah, watch this.
Oh fuck, he's shredded.
Yeah, he is.
Is he gonna land on his bike? Are you serious? Fuck off. Dude, that's a broken anything waiting to happen.
He did hurt himself too doing it.
Oh, really?
He's just a weapon, like
What a G. So this guy reminds me of Joel Rizzo. You remember him?
yeah, I do. I was a Rizzo fan growing up because he was older than me.
Dude, dirty. I was a Rizzo fan too, to be honest.
Yeah, this kid's got a lot of talent.
Really?
And he's
just a fucking nut.
Yeah, and he's super he's fit and whatever, so like I feel like and this year he has been really fast. Like he's beat Jay and stuff straight up in these local races a couple times.
Click on that video there. Yeah, go down. Yeah. Where's this at?
This is at that next level place, yeah. Right.
I've been meaning to get out there, but fuck, it's pretty hard to get away from here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hike from here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this kid, if he gets a start, like he can definitely mix it up and he'll be there the whole moto. And he's not scared to bang bars. Like he doesn't take any crap sort of thing. So that could be exciting. I don't know too many of the like down south guys.
Yeah.
But as far as a Queensland guy, like I know he can run it up with Jesse, NATO, Jay, all those sort of guys. So if he gets a start, he'll be up the front as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man, it'll be pretty cool season. I'm excited to follow it. Like I've been a bit shit when it comes to following it over the last few years, but I think this year will be really cool to try and get into it. And
yeah, that's right. There should be some cool storylines and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, we definitely need it. Eh? What tracks have we got? We got Wonthaggi first round.
Yeah. Then we go to Canberra.
Yeah.
Gilman. I've never been there, never seen
That's
it.
in South Australia. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, look up that track. I'm pretty sure I raced a South Australian state title round at Gilman, and it was fucking good.
What sort of dirt is it?
It's like sandy. It's kind of like Murray Bridge style. If it's the right one.
I love Murray Bridge, so something like that would be sick.
Yeah, click on like that one there. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice dirt, dude.
It does look good in that photo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have been in like 2009, I reckon. But yeah, it was really good. Meddy will be fast there. Gypsy will be fast there. Where's it go after that?
Ooh, after that. Here we go. Maitland. Is that any good? It's sort of pretty tight, hard pack sort of track.
Yeah.
It's probably not the coolest track. It's not too bad. And then got Albury, I can't remember. I think that's hard pack, sort of black, slippery soil.
Yeah, it's not the best.
I think it's QMP then, is that round 6.
Yeah. I'll be there with a fucking chainsaw.
Swinging off it.
Fly jets down. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I think QMP, like, if they could prep QMP right, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like, that'd
get... Where would they run it?
I think they'd probably do what they do at Day in the Dirt and join the tracks.
Or I've heard that the Pro Tracks crew,
yeah.
I don't know who I heard this from, but maybe they'll, like, fix up the national track down the back and do something with that.
I don't know why they'd do that. Like, that to me seems stupid.
But, like, there's nowhere to park and watch and all that kind of stuff. It's
just
too far away.
And why build a track for one day of the year? Why wouldn't you make the tracks that everybody rides every day better and national caliber?
Hopefully it changes a little bit.
Yeah, because I think what they should do is they should do that MX2 track at the back and the natural terrain track.
Mix
those two together.
Yeah.
That would be fucking sick. You wouldn't really need to do anything more than that, I don't think. Because, like, that natural terrain track's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then if you went and made some bigger jumps on that MX2 track, the dirt's good. It's a pretty good layout.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you're better off investing in the current infrastructure than just making, like, a totally new track. Because the thing, too, this is where people fuck up track prep on new track. Like, if you build a track for a race, it takes so long to get water into that dirt, you know? Like, that's the problem that they have with that national track for Day in the Dirt, is they wet it and they're like, oh, we're soaking it, but it doesn't go, like, all the way through.
Yeah,
like, the dirt in the natural terrain track and MX2, because they water it every single week, it changes the dirt. Like, it actually, there's, like, a consistency that goes, like, all the way through, and it's not like you got the wet shit on top and then you just blow through to dust.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a good point. You always see it with new tracks.
Yeah.
It's like there'll be a section here that's mud puddle, and then you go straight to, like, hard pack dust, and it's, like, blowing everywhere. So it'd be a cool idea just to find a combination of the two tracks.
Yeah.
Like, pick the best ones, parts of it, and add it together. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I reckon they could.
And
definitely
they've got a start area on that natural terrain one too.
Yeah.
Like, there's an area to do starts. So.
Well, and that would be the best place for viewing. That'd be the best place to view the start. Be interesting to see what they do there.
Yeah,
because that's a really good opportunity for a national. Because you think about, like, man, I think they've said to us that they get around 600 bikes a weekend to MX1.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, just get, 600, 700 spectators, like, just by the people that go riding there. That's before you even get any other spectators, and you've got a chance to advertise it to all those people every single weekend.
Yeah.
Like, if you do the signage right and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's not too far from, like, here or Brizzy sort of thing, so you can get people to travel for it for sure to go check it out.
Yeah.
I think it would be, it should be cool if they do it right.
Yeah. And then 2 rounds at Coolum, which will, 30 minutes at Coolum, bro.
It's gnarly.
That place is no joke.
No.
Like, we rode there the other day, and McCoy invited us after one of his coaching things, and I was just said to Sam, I was like, dude, could you imagine if you had to do this for your job? Like, fuck that, man. It is so gnarly.
Yeah, it's like and then imagine that just, like, way more beat up too.
Oh, we didn't even get it super rough.
Yeah, second day of the national, it's just like, it's like there's no rest ever. And the jumps aren't big enough to give you a rest.
Yeah,
and
true.
Some of the, like, tabletops there end up with a whoop section up it, so you don't jump it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just super gnarly track, that's for sure. Like, I know pretty well anyone who goes there, and I've even heard from American guys that have come over here, they're like, that track's just different.
Yeah.
Something about it's just brutal.
Yeah, because it doesn't get like a normal sand track. Like a normal rough sand track, like that one that you ride.
Yeah,
it just gets the big whoops, and you can time them, and you can roll them, and you can kind of get like a flow going around it.
Yeah.
Coolum, man, it's just not like that at all. And it's so hard to, like, the outsides just get so beat up, and then the insides get just, like, deep ass ruts in it. Like, it's a fucking gnarly joint.
It's special place to ride. I always do good there though, so I'm pretty pumped with the 2 rounds there always.
Yeah. Have you put in a bunch of time there?
Just throughout the years sort of thing, not like specifically going there every week or anything, but just like I've grown up in Queensland sort of deal, so I ride there, race there forever sort of deal. Yeah, I've always done pretty good there.
Yeah, it's definitely a home track advantage kind of place. If
yeah, definitely.
Put in a bunch of time.
And I don't know what it is either. It's like I feel like I'm pretty fit, like I do train pretty good, but I think it's like I know how to suffer more than everyone else or something, because at the end of the motos, I'm always one of the quickest, like all the time.
Even
pretty
though
well.
You're cooked.
Yeah, like you look at all the like Harvey Bay races and stuff from previous years, Queenslands and stuff. It's like I'm the quickest guy the last 3 laps. It's like sort of always, I don't know what the go is there. It's like I get tired and I get faster. Like I just somehow can just suffer through it. And that obviously helps it cool them, because I don't think there's anybody that's not hurting. Like every single person is hurting from about 10, 15 minutes in. And if you can just suffer through the rest of it, you do pretty good. I know it's like if I'm around 10th or something on like 15-minute mark, it's like I'm going to get 5th or something. Like you just start reeling them in, because it's like my lap time either stays the same or goes faster and everyone else drops off.
Yeah. And what's like your mindset in that when you're in that mode?
I don't know.
You're in pain, like your arms hurt, your back hurts, your legs hurt.
Everything hurts. It's just, I don't know, I just can't quit. I guess it's like I don't know how to just be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to cruise it in. I just go as hard as I can the whole time, sort of thing. Yeah, I just don't know how to slow down almost. It seems weird to be like, okay, I'm going to back it down a few seconds. Yeah.
Whereas other guys, they just, because I'm like that, man. I get to a point where I'm like, okay, it's unsafe now for me to like keep pushing, pushing. Yeah. And luckily, I don't have to do that. So as soon as I feel unsafe, I just slow down.
Yeah, maybe that's something that's going to beat me on a 450. So I might have to start figuring that, because you don't want to ride tired on a 450.
Nah.
And at the same speed, because that will hurt you.
Yeah. So what's your plan? So you literally leave from here to Wonthaggi, right?
Yeah, legit. From when we're done here, I start driving.
That's so sick.
Yeah, we'll just start going down and it'll be sweet.
And so what's your plan? First round Wonthaggi, do you stay down there? Are you going to try and stay around? Like you're just going to follow the season and not really come back home?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's Gilman.
Yeah.
So they're all down south. So I'm going to stay around until after Gilman and just try to coach weekends in between, and then try to find some people who might let me ride their tracks or something like that, to get some training in between.
Dude, it'll be great for your content.
Yeah, it'll be cool. That's the idea. We'll go travel and see stuff. Yeah. And then like go train at all different sort of tracks and stuff instead of the same ones on repeat.
Yeah.
All different tracks, check out different places, and yeah, we're pretty pumped for it actually.
Yeah. When you're down at in Vic, you should try and get to Ross Beaton's place.
Yeah, I actually messaged Ross.
Oh, did you?
I think he's super busy with like, he's got a lot of guys and he's got that training thing that he does, whatever it's called, so I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's super busy, but he said he'll try to help me out if he can.
That'd be sick.
But yeah, because it looks like he's got some cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, which year? 2017. I met Jed Beaton.
Yeah.
And I had to take him from Toowoomba after that national down to Dean's place.
Yep.
And I got to meet him there. He's like nicest dude ever.
He's the best though.
Yeah, and he's still like, he messaged me on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, this guy's so sick. Like he's just such a genuinely nice dude.
He is, man.
And then he was telling me about his brother, and he's really talks highly of his brother's coaching and stuff, and like how good of a technique guy he is. And so like it'd be cool to just see what those guys do a little bit. Yeah.
What where are you looking at mostly for like technique stuff? Like what's your strategy for analyzing and improving on technique?
So as far as analyzing, I see a lot of the video stuff, but I can feel it a lot now as well. I remember that time Jed was telling me how important your feet are.
Yeah.
And he said it took him 12 months of every day just trying to think on your toes, on your toes, on your toes.
Yeah.
He said it took him 12 months to figure it out, but he got it, and he said it's so much better. Everything comes from your toes, and just throughout the years I've learned all the right techniques, but now my biggest focus is my hips.
Yeah.
So I've had 2 hip surgeries, and I technically need another one. Like the surgeons wanted to do another one, but I said no.
What's the injury?
So it's a FAI, it's like a femoral acetabular impingement, they call it. And it's not even from dirt bikes. I was just lucky enough to be born with a little lump on my femur.
Yeah.
And just
how'd they diagnose that? MRI?
Yeah, MRI. So it actually sort of annoying. Like I went to a bunch of doctors and was like, oh, my hip hurts. Like it clicks and pops and gets stuck. Like you just got to stretch. Just stretch. And I'm like, I stretch and it hurts more.
Yeah.
So like I stretch and I get up and I limp for like 10 minutes. I can't walk properly.
Yeah.
And took forever, like years sort of thing. And then I went to a doctor who was finally like, oh, we'll get it checked out. And basically said like the little lump I had on my femur just tore up all my cartilage in my hip like rolled carpet, he said.
Yeah.
So I had to go in, split my hip and then cut the cartilage out.
Yeah.
And then shave off that bit of the femur. You know, got healed up after that and then still had the pain. So then they're like, oh, we'll get more aggressive, do it again. And it's still not really any good. So
really,
it doesn't have the click and pop anymore, but I really struggle to squat and to... So if
where's the pain? Like what part?
Deep in my hip.
And in like the front, in the side,
it feels
around the back.
Feels front.
Yeah.
Towards the front. Yeah. So I've been big into trying to foam roll and stuff, and it helps massively. Yeah. I have to like friends of mine always get up me at the track because I take forever to get ready.
Yeah.
But if I don't foam roll and stuff, I can't sit on the bike. So you sit in the pits, you hold onto your bars, and you just sit your feet on the pegs. I can't do that.
Really?
That's how bad my hip is. My knees has to poke out.
Oh, so it won't like turn in.
Yeah,
like
I don't have that internal rotation.
Yeah.
And obviously that's super important.
Yeah.
And then if I rotate my hips out to drive like that technique, you watch Ken Roxon and Sexton and all those guys. Toes in, and then they rotate, like they poke their ass out.
Yeah.
That poking your ass out, I'm always rounded a little bit because if I do that, it pinches.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really working on at the moment, is trying to free up this somehow.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of your podcasts I listen to for like stem cells and different stuff. I'm like, maybe something to look into there.
Yeah.
Because I put a lot of effort in trying to get it right. And I feel like that's sort of something that's holding me back a little bit.
Do you do any like shit with the lacrosse ball or just foam roller?
A little bit with the lacrosse ball and stuff. Like I actually use a softball.
Yeah.
And try to get into like my glutes and stuff and really get in there.
Yeah.
And it does help for sure. It definitely helps.
Yeah, I've been like obviously because I hurt my hip last year, and like since then my hips have just been completely fucked. But I've always had impingement. My right hip's worse than my left hip. But they're both bad to the point where like I actually. You know when you go to do the splits, like if you lay down and you put your legs against the wall and then you just did the splits there. So like in the front part of my hip, in the same place in both hips, it just stops.
Yeah. Okay.
So I literally can't even stretch my groin.
Yeah.
Because my hip, like I just don't have enough hip mobility there.
Yeah, I sort of got the same.
Yeah, so I've been doing, I can text it to you, but it's like just a 20-minute or 17-minute hip mobility routine.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing that's really helped me out is just like sitting with my hands back, just sitting on the ground, knees up in front of me, and then doing like that hip swivel.
Yeah.
Just like back and forward, back, just over and over.
Yeah.
And that's like the first exercise that you do.
So you lean back a fair bit to do that?
I'm getting better. Like I can just sort of...
you can really do it now.
Yeah, sort of pretty much do it. But the other thing, there's a really cool, like you lay on your side and then you get a yoga block. So your legs are at 90 degrees. You're laying on your side, so legs there. And then you put the yoga block in between your knees.
Yeah.
And then you just like, so this is my top leg. And I just like, you flare it up. So it's like external rotation.
Yeah.
And you're holding onto it for 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And like the fucking hips are cramping, like all your hip flexors and shit like that.
Yeah.
They're all cramping and spazzing out and you can't do it and your legs like shaking, and then you put it back down and then you do like 3 sets of 30 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And that, man, massive difference.
Yeah, okay.
So like doing that, and then you go into the hip swivel and then you rotate away, and then that forces like internal rotation. You can feel your femur like move in your hip.
Right. Yeah.
And it's, man, so good.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing this for probably, I stretch every day, but I'm always trying to find new things to do. And man, this routine's just helped so much, dude. I did it before jiu-jitsu last night.
Yeah.
and like probably 30% improvement.
Holy,
just from doing a good warm up before it.
Yeah,
but
I'd be all about trying it for sure. It sucks, honestly.
It's hard, eh?
Yeah, like having bad hips is just no fun sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it'll be awesome. Like I heard you say in one of your podcasts, like you got down an Asian squat, like you just squat down to do that. I was like, that's like a dream for me.
Yeah, well, this guy
it seems unrealistic.
Ronan, just go on YouTube, pull it up. Tom Merrick, I think it's
I know.
You've seen his stuff,
him,
yeah. So I'm following his Merrick, MER, and then just go hip follow along or squat follow along in YouTube. Let this dog back in. Yeah, just look up his thing. It's
you've already watched it.
What's that?
You've already watched it.
Got the purple right in there.
Oh yeah, I've watched it so much. Yeah, so this one I've been doing. So yeah, chuck that on. Yeah, so this one I've been doing is a 15-minute beginner squat flexibility routine.
Yeah.
The thing that it's good too when you do these kind of routines, the follow along stuff. Because like the time, you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
For the same amount of time that he says, sort of just takes like the guesswork out of it. But the big thing that was stopping this position. So like I don't really need the squat. Like I've got it to the point where my hips actually feel good in that squat now.
Yeah.
The thing that stopped it, that's that warm up.
Yeah, yeah.
There.
See, I can't do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So do you have to lean back real far to do it?
Real far, yeah.
Yeah, so my left hip, when I do that, I've got to kind of like wiggle my bum like it's not fully smooth, but it's a lot better than what it was even a couple of weeks ago when I first started doing it. But yeah, I didn't know that my calves were the thing that stops my Slavic squat now.
Yeah, okay.
So and the front muscles on your shin. I can't remember the technical name for that. But yeah, those are the things now that are stopping my squat. But my hips, like I've made such big improvements already just from this.
All this stuff is like just so, I don't know, interesting to me now, and I want, like, it's crazy. Like, back in the day, I went to certain trainers and stuff, and I actually had a personal trainer tell me, like, don't stretch. Why are you stretching?
Yeah, right.
And like, you're a motocross rider. Like, he asked me, why do you stretch? And I said, I don't know.
Dude, Dean would stretch a lot, eh?
Yeah. And I didn't have an answer for him. Like, this is a while ago when I was about 15 or something. And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, no need to stretch. It just makes you weaker. And it's like the dumbest thing ever, but I didn't know. So I just listened to him, and I was like, yeah, sweet. And then now I'm regretting it so much. And I think, like, when I do my coaching skills, actually, I usually do afterwards, I do a stretch session with the people.
That's cool.
And I explain to them how big it is. Because it was actually Dean opened my eyes to it.
Yeah.
And when we went down there, and I couldn't get in the positions I needed to. My hips were so bad. And I actually spent 2 months. I got a good trainer, and we spent 2 months away from dirt bike.
Yep.
Just stretched, mobility and that sort of stuff, and I got a lot better.
Yeah.
I was 2 seconds a lap faster.
Wow.
And I felt like I was stuck at that point. It's like, I don't know how to go faster.
Yeah.
It's because I couldn't use technique.
Yeah.
I had to lean back.
Yeah.
To get my leg up and stuff like that. Like, I was just so unflexible, and now that sort of opened my eyes. It's like, I need to get better and better and better, and then I can get faster.
Yeah. Like,
instead of just twisting the throttle, I can use the right techniques and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. So I sort of try to teach that now in my schools and stuff.
There's a really good like the hamstring one as well, because that position that you want to get into on the bike puts so much extra pressure on your hamstring.
Yeah.
And so, like, super flexible hamstrings. I remember Todd came home from Europe, like, when he first went over to Europe. And I remember him saying once to me, dude, Caroli is just, like, next level flexible. And I was like, what the fuck are you, like, what does that even matter, dude? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu at this point. Like, and that's the thing. I didn't realize what flexibility really was until I started doing jiu-jitsu, because you just get folded. Like, constantly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I realized, I'm actually pretty flexible in terms of if someone was, like, pushing on me, I can deal with the pain and relax and let it go all the way. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I actually am a little bit like I am kind of flexible, but then when you just statically stretch, it wasn't there. Like it really, you had to take someone like pushing on you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to work on this now. But yeah, now like you get put in the correct attack position, and your hamstrings, if you got tight hamstrings, like you just can't stay there that long.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not just flexibility. Like, it's strength because you're fighting against being unflexible. Yeah. So like it all works against each other, and it's like just a bad circle.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not flexible, then you got to use more like hip flexor to try to lift that leg and everything, and it's just a big vicious circle.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to work on it at the moment. And like with that hip thing, I when I was in hospital from when I broke my neck, I was in there for so long, and I sort of just assumed whatever was going on with my hip would just fix itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as soon as I started being able to walk again, I was like, oh, it's still there, and flared up straight away. And then the rest of my body was all tight because I laid in a bed for 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, now it's like I'm just finding the benefits from that little bit I did with Dean, and then the few foam rolling. I was like, I'll be limping.
Yeah.
Foam roll for 10 to 15 minutes and walk normal.
Yeah.
It's like, I think like it's so crazy how important that is, and how little people I think do it or know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
Yeah, man. That's one of my things.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't have that many things I do, but I tried to just make it such a big part of my shit just every day. Cause, man, like I've noticed like you're young still in terms of your like physically, you know, to be 26, like that's a good number for your body. Yeah. But it goes down. Like that shit once you get to like, literally when you get to 30, you hit like I reckon 30 to 33 is probably like, this is my guess based off being 32, but like 30 to 33 is when your body will be like fully ready to be in its prime. Like not like it will just be in its prime, like if you're not stretching, if you're not fit, but I feel like my body accepts hard work at this age better than it ever did.
Yeah.
Like because I don't know whether there's something to do with like just your physiology of like you're done growing in terms of like height and whatever, and then any gains you make just goes onto the body. The body's not getting bigger, or you know what I mean? But with that, there's a lot of degeneration of your joints and that extra years of just crashes and all that, just sitting at a desk. Like, man, I know the month where our YouTube numbers will be the biggest, my neck will be the sorest.
Yeah.
That's just a direct relationship from fucking sitting down. Yeah. Because you spend so much time sitting down. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just like the investment that you make in your body, and the fact that you're doing it now. I mean, you know, you look in a couple years' time when you're ready to hit like that. Because look at Todd. I think Todd's 30 now, but like he's just physically just killing it right now.
Yeah.
You know, he puts in so much effort, and like you can just see how like developed he is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's you can get better too, which is the thing. Like when you see stuff like you're talking about, you can improve and you can do stuff like this. But that's something I found through motocross and everything, is how crazy it is that there's just like any job, there's good doctors and shit doctors.
Yeah,
It's just like a plumber or like a mechanic, man. It's the same thing, because I had doctors like, that's as good as you're going to get your hip. Like it's just, you need another surgery. And it's like, and then my trainer and stuff, he's like, oh, let's just try to do it another way. Just trust me, give me a couple months.
Yeah.
And we got it so much better. I still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But doing all the stuff that you're talking about, it makes a big difference. And like you can do stuff without surgery and doctors and pills and all this sort of stuff, I'm finding. And man, it's so annoying really when you look at it, because so many people trust doctors.
Yeah.
And like you should. Like they're smart, super smart people, but there's a lot of crappy ones.
Yeah.
And I found it with my hip and with my neck, and they just, I don't know. They just tell you that you can't get any better.
Well, the thing is too, is that no one knows your body like you do.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like you don't know what you don't know. So there's all these things, like I didn't know that my calves and that were what was really fucking up my squat.
Yeah.
I thought it was my hips, but it's like, then you start to do these routines, you figure out how tight other stuff is, and so what you got to do is just get into a process of improvement.
Yeah.
And then you'll learn exactly, like over time, by just doing things so much, you can't help but learn what you need.
Yeah.
And you can change things around, you can change your routine, you can try different things, and once you find something that works, then you find something else that works, and you just kind of go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And I think it's kind of like anything though, really, you know, like even what you're doing with your YouTube channel, like you'll get better at the filming and the editing and the posting, and there's so much stuff. Like the more that you just do, the more you'll learn, and it like aggregates over time, like it builds up over time.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It's just like it's what's the thing? It's like the more you know, the more you learn that you don't know, or whatever, saying.
Yeah.
It's like I find that with just about everything. Hey, it's like you just open up a whole nother can of worms. Like I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I don't know, trying to learn everything. It's just the hard part. Yeah.
So let's shout out some of your sponsors and the people that have got you going. Let's shout out the links to your YouTube channel. Let's shout out or do the shameless plug, and then we'll get you on your way to one thaggy, mate. I've really enjoyed you coming on the podcast. I'm super glad I got to do it.
No, I appreciate you having me on. So my pitboard, actually, I don't know if you've seen that.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I actually import and sell those now. My pitboard. Yeah. mypitboard.au or whatever you want to write. It'll come up.
Give that .com.au, mate. Come on.
Just do my pitboard. It'll come up.
There you go.
So basically it's a pitboard on your handlebars.
Yeah.
It'll automatically do your lap times and stuff. So like MX Farm the other day when we were there, I just pick a spot on the track.
Yeah.
I picked a spot before the big triple. So then each time I come past that spot, it'll display on my handlebars my lap time.
Oh,
so if I go up over the triple, I just got to look down at my lap time, and I got my own instead of having a mechanic there.
Epic.
Yeah, so it's sweet. Jay Wilson actually bought one off me not long ago, and he said he doesn't know why every pro doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Medi's got one.
Yeah, right.
More and more people, I think they just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Just yet, but it's such a cool thing.
So you can set. Do you have to put anything on the track?
No. So where it's got the lap time mode there, basically on your handlebars, it's just on there. You just click that, and it goes off GPS.
Wow.
So then you go to your point where you want it set. You go set point. It'll load for a second.
Yeah.
And wherever you were, each time you come past that point of the track, and just display it.
Wow.
Yeah, so super simple. And then after your moto, you can click on like a little timer thing and it'll show all your laps sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you can break it down to segment mode and everything, but typically you just do lap times. And
so will it show your total time as well?
Yep.
If you look down?
Yeah, so it's top left side of the screen is like total time. Then it's got your laps, like how many laps you've done and your difference from your last lap. And then the main screen is just your lap time.
Yeah, right.
And it'll display green or red whether you're faster or slower than your last lap too.
Oh, sick.
So like if you, some reason, didn't get get to look at it enough, you'll at least see if it was faster or slower sort of thing.
Yeah, you get the... Yeah, that makes sense.
It is super cool.
How's the segment mode work?
So you basically, it's just how you set the start-finish line. You just do that around the track, wherever you want it. So you just go to the next first segment. You're like, okay, 3 corners in, I'll set it here. Then 4 corners in, I'll set it here. And then you can split the track into different sections.
Yeah.
As you go past there, it'll display that until you get to the next segment. Then it'll display it until you get to the next segment.
Yeah. Can you set it so, like, you know how the other day I was just doing segments at MX Farm? So you could set it to, like, the start of the berm at the back to the rut, the first U-turn rut. Could you set it there, and then you could just cut the track, and then and it'll just tell you that info.
That's actually section mode. So you can just go A to B.
Yeah.
And it'll just time that.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Do you want one?
Yeah,
I'll hook you up with one
for sure.
Yeah,
that'll be unreal.
We'll get you to test her out.
Yeah.
See what you reckon, because that's what like when I gave Jay a go of it and stuff. I was like, I just want your opinion. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And he called me, had a good chat, and he just like, I don't know why everyone doesn't have one.
Dude,
but it's new, I think, is the thing. But once people realize what it is, like America, everyone's got mechanics and pit boards and stuff. But here, obviously, the budgets aren't there to do that, so we're training by ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
So it's unreal. You got your times there, push yourself over that. Yeah, massively. Because it's like, if you're trying to do a 30-minute moto, you're the only one on the track.
Yeah.
And you got no pit board, you almost start thinking about, home and away or whatever pops into your head sort of deal. So it's sweet because you see the 124 and then you're like, I got to beat that and got to beat that and keep training. Like I did 55 minutes overall the other day of sprints.
Yeah.
because I was trying to get a 119 on this track.
Yeah.
And I was doing 120s, and just doing sprint laps, and I'd have a break and think about how to go faster and do again. And then, it's like I could just went for an hour of trying to chase myself just with the timer.
That's cool, eh?
Yeah. So it's super cool.
The on the KTMs that's like stock on the triple clamp, you've got your hour meter.
Yeah.
And when I had twin walls on my bike, I could look over and see my hour meter.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much making every time I was riding, I had to do 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
I just had to put 30 minutes on my hour meter.
Oh, okay.
So like I was doing motos, but I just wouldn't come back to the pits unless I'd done 30.
Yeah.
Just to try and, I'd do like 5 or 6 laps and then I'd pull off and I'd do practice one ride a bunch of times, but I was just staying out there. And man, my riding definitely got so much better. And then I put fat bars on and like put the big crossbar pad and I couldn't see my hour meter. And I just was like, had no idea. It honestly helped me just having a visual. And then every time I rode, I tried to put 2 hours on my hour meter.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And now I lost that. I'm back to riding shit. So I don't know. This might be the go.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm a nerd. So when I go riding, I like that sort of shit. I like shit that's like quantifiable, and I think that's why I like the content stuff, because you can see views, you can see like click-through rates, you can see there's these little variables.
It's not just off feel, like you've actually got numbers to back it up. Yeah.
And I just get into it at that point.
Yeah. And like my mate, good mate of mine, Johnny, he like travels around mechanics for me and stuff. He's just like a B grade level sort of guy, like doesn't really race much or anything. And he bought one off me, and I was a bit like, I don't know how you go because you're not chasing times and stuff like that. And he said it's unreal. He said awesome. I feel like I'm like I've never had someone pitboard for me in my whole life. So he's like, it's so cool to actually see times. He said instead of getting 3 laps in, getting tired and just pulling off, oh shit, I might go 10-minute moto or whatever and try to do a bit more. And I was like, that's cool that he like could get out of it too. And I was like, that's a whole nother thing that you don't think about as well, is a lot of these guys that ride like probably have never seen a pitboard ever because they've had no need to. Yeah. So it's like it's pretty cool for that, I think.
Yeah, and I think too, like, we probably all collectively need to get over it in terms of, I'm not fast, I don't need this.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, do your best.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, man. Yeah. Like, you should aim to be like the best version that you want to be. Yeah. Maybe you don't want to do lap times, maybe you don't want to, like, so if you don't have a want for any of this, then just like don't listen to this bit.
Yeah.
But if you're a fucking squid that wants to get better and that wants to see lap times, even though your lap times are very slow, who gives a fuck? There should be no reason like why you can't, as a B grade or C grade rider, have something cool that actually helps you, like, even if it doesn't help you get faster, if it just keeps you on the track longer, where you're like, I'm going to go out and do 10 minutes. Because that's the thing with, like, motocross for me is shit when I don't have something to do on the bike. And I kind of felt like that at MX Farm on the weekend. I just I wasn't filming. I just went out for a ride. There was didn't know how long I was out there. You know, like, there's nothing that kind of could like get me, suck me into it. If I wasn't feeling it straight away, and then that's how it stayed all day. And it's like, you get something like this, it's like you get something to do. And I'm always thinking about technique. So whenever I'm on the bike, I'm never really thinking about just going fast. Yeah. I'm always just thinking about technique. And I think that, you know, people need to get over that attitude of like, I'm slow, I won't change my clickers, I won't fuck with my suspension, I won't try this, I won't try that. It's like, no, do it, dude. Like, just because you're slow.
Such an old school mentality of like, trying's not cool sort of thing. Like, you're a try hard sort of deal. Yeah. It's like, trying is cool. Yeah. I think it's awesome to just try to get better at something. Yeah. Like, no matter what it is. I think it's like, so dirt bikes for me, like, that is what's fun. I don't like whips and stuff. For me, it's like, it's cool, but that's not really my deal. Yeah. I'm like, I just like to try and get better. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how I'm doing that. It's like, so I think that's the cool thing about, like you said, technique stuff. It's like usually you think that's boring going and hitting this rut again and again.
Or like you said, it makes you lame that you actually care.
Yeah, but it's super cool when you get it right and you're like, oh, I nailed that rut. That was sick. Yeah. Or whatever it is. It's just fun to try to get better.
Yeah. And so so you import these into Oz, or what's the deal?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know who Tyler Medaglia is.
I've heard that name, yeah.
He like races for Canada and like whatever. Yeah. He actually is like part founder in it.
Yeah.
And I actually just saw it on that Kiefer guy's Instagram.
Kiefer testing,
it popped up.
Yeah.
So I messaged them and then got one here and I helped them test like their version 1 in Australia or whatever. And then they saw actually that was something that come from YouTube.
Oh yeah.
They saw the YouTube and stuff and like, oh yeah, like if you want to be like a bigger part of it,
that's cool.
Come into it. And I bought in and bought a whole bunch of them and
sick.
So yeah, I'm like the importer distributor for them sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. I'm actually doing that out of the van too.
That's sick.
Yeah. I got a bunch at my old man's place, but then we've always got a certain amount in the van sort of deals that we can send out. So
yeah. And what's the retail on them?
$4.99.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. So like it's when I looked at that, I was like, oh, is that expensive? But when you look at dirt bikes, I was like, not really.
Yeah.
We spend so much money on dirt bikes and like a pipe's $1,500 or whatever. So
yeah,
I think that can actually help you improve and enjoy, like make the enjoyment more. So
yeah, I'm keen as to try one. I think it'd be great. And so where do people get them? Just mypitboard.com.au?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. Just go mypitboard Instagram or au.mypitboard, I think it is actually, but if you just type in mypitboard, it'll come up.
Yeah, sweet.
Keep it simple.
And then what else have we got to shout out before we get rolling to one daggy?
Yeah, I want to say massive thanks to like Unit. Those guys have been really cool to me. I think just the opportunity to work with those sort of guys. I got to meet Corey Creed and a bunch of cool guys like through them.
Yeah.
That's been really cool. Motorcycles Are Us. They're the bike shop I go through because when all the stuff happened with COVID, obviously it got hard to get bikes and whatever, but those guys helped me out and just gave me a good deal.
Yeah. Whereabouts are they based?
Brizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Underwood.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get people to go there as much as they can, like support local a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they help me out heaps. I got a local Furnication. He's like a Brisbane guy. He's a fabricator.
Yeah.
He actually builds like a custom brake lever for me and stuff like that.
That's what I actually wanted to talk to you about as well. Have you got any of those? Or can I get one of them off him? I'll buy one off him.
Yeah,
I'd love to try that.
It's super. It's a big difference.
Because that's the problem with riding on your toes.
It's the transition so big.
To try and get back to you. It feels like you literally have to lift and put your foot forward. Like you can't really slide it forward.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you hit a bump or whatever, then you end up standing on your rear brake because you've got it floating up in the air and whatever.
Yeah.
So I actually just moved it back to the furthest back hole the other day. So good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that on you. Did you post that on your Instagram like yesterday or a couple of days ago?
Yeah, it was on my YouTube as well. On my latest YouTube.
Yeah, it was on your race bike build. That's what it was. Yeah.
So yeah, I got that on there, and Furnication, his name is. Yeah. So he
is he going to make one of those to like sell or?
He wasn't sure what he was going to do with it. He listened to me on another podcast and like just wanted to help out, like my story and stuff. So
yeah, sick.
Then he's like, oh, I might be able to sell a few or whatever. So I think he's keen to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does a good job of it. So
yeah, I'll buy one off him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll link you up with his number and stuff, and we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many cool people that help me out. Like I don't want to do the full sponsor list thing, but Maxis, MotorX, like those guys. I think Maxis, do they help you out a little bit?
Yeah,
run their
stuff.
Yeah. Those tires are awesome. So, Backyard Designs does all my sticker kits and stuff like that. Then I've just got a few like local bloody like love sponsors almost in at home, like just people that don't really need any credit sort of thing. They just want to help me go racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say thank you to sort of everyone who supports me, the YouTube, everything like that. And yeah, just Joel Evans is the YouTube. So go check that out, and that'll help out heaps.
Yeah, sweet, dude. Well, man, I'm really glad we got to do this before the first round. I'm excited to watch your content. And yeah, hopefully everybody that's enjoyed listening will go and give you a sub over on the old YouTube channel. And just excited to watch the storyline and have a, someone that it's real easy. Like you're making it easy for people to follow the race season, and hopefully I would say too, like if you can give insight into what happened at the top, regardless of where you finish. Like, who did this, who's winning the championship now, like where they are in points, where you are in points, like shit like that. And for both classes, I think that's probably something that, like, you can be like a bit of a one-stop shop. You're not going to have to go and watch another video to get results. Like, if you film the podium or break down who's on it and this is the points race and stuff like that. And even for me, I'll be like, oh fuck, I can just go watch Joel's videos, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That's a cool idea. We'll do that for sure. Show everyone what's going on at the races. I'm just a fan of it too, so I'll probably be keen to break down the race a bit for you.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. Watch those MX2 boys just clean each other out all day.
It's going to be sick. I'm excited now, eh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Thanks heaps. I'm really stoked. I appreciate you coming on. And, best of luck this season. I think it's going to be a good one for you.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Thanks heaps.
No dramas.
All right.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.